and prestige from
Hello, Earth. I'm here. Aha.
New Pulsar Legionnaire available now. First outfit with special head animations and voice lines. The Pulsar Legionnaire set comes with its own super cute voice lines that can be toggled on or off.
What happened? Bye, friend. Hello, Earth. I'm here.
It also features the upgradable Hyperion ship DSR and Jet Reaver glider with special animations. Experience parachuting like never before. That's not all. Even more rewards await. Event period, July 25th, 2025 through August 26th, 2025. What are you waiting for? Get the new Guild set now.
Cybertron's future is near. Autobots, roll out! This planet reeks of weakness. Your courage reignites my spark. We'll crowd a new load of Cybertron. Roll for freedom. A victory for all sentient beings.
Okay, so let's talk about day one. It was a little bit lackadaisical. We didn't see what we expected to see from Noxium Red Force. Day two, night and day difference. They came out explosively and performed so well. What was the transition like from day one's performance to the dominant day two performance?
이제 1일차에서는 좀 많이 아쉬웠는데 그래도 이렇게 3일차 와서 정말 폭발적인 경기력 보여주셨잖아요. 그래서 1일차와 이 3일차의 좀 경기력은 좀 어떻게 달랐는지 궁금합니다.
일단 1일차를 제가 막 어떤 대회든 간에 막 그렇게 잘하진 않은데 이제 그 1일차에 못하는 부진한 모습에 그런 모습을 보여줄 수 있는, 그러니까 보여드리는 이유가 아무래도 좀 다들 많이 긴장도 한 것도 있고 어느 정도 마음가짐 차이도 다를 때도 있고 이제 그런 마음가짐 차이를 좀 굳게 먹다 보니까 2일차 때 저희 실력이 나오고 1일차 때는 실력이라기보다는 그냥 마음가짐 차이가 좀 컸지 않나 생각을 합니다.
I think the biggest difference was our mindset because our first day we were very nervous and we didn't show up our performance. So that being said, I think first day's performance wasn't overall our skill, but we just didn't show it. So we just tried it, our mindset. We just tried to reset our mindset and then try to come back here, and then I think that worked pretty well on the second day.
Without a doubt, and I think from day one to day two showed that they could truly be a dominant force, and I really hope so. You go to survival stage next. That's going to be a tall task. What's your confidence level feeling like, and do you truly think you can make it back into the finals?
좀 아쉽게 서바이벌 스테이지로 내려오긴 했지만 그래도 이 서바이벌 스테이지에서 좀 어떤 경기력을 보여주실지 어떤 좀 자신감이 있는지 궁금합니다.
일단 저희의 단점을 찾았기 때문에 그러니까 완벽하게 다 찾지 못하더라도 단점을 하나하나씩 다 찾아가고 있으니까 저희가 서바이벌 가서도 1일차 때 이제 절지 않을 거라는 보장은 없었는데 보장은 없고 2일차 때 또 잘할 거라는 보장은 없는데 이제 확실하게 나날이 발전해가는 농심 레드포스가 될 거라고 장담합니다.
I think we're finding our strengths here day and over day and day. So that being said, we are not guaranteeing like bad day one or great day two, but overall we're trying to find our strength and then try to come back in time. So I think that in that way we will try to grow ourselves into the finals.
Grow ourselves into the finals. And last question, just ask him, what does he want his fans to know about not only himself but also his team going forward?
이제 본인뿐만 아니라 팀으로서 좀 이번 스테이지 들어가시면서 좀 어떤 마음가짐을 좀 가지실지, 어떤 목표를 가지실지 궁금합니다.
이번에 서바이벌 갈 때 어떤 마음을 가지고 가는지.
네.
이번에 서바이벌 들어가기 직전에는 사실 저희가 연습을 해왔던 거 이제 세계대회로 오기 전에 이제 자국 리그에서 연습을 해왔던 거를 증명하고 또 실험하고 또 이제 결과를 내기 위해서 사실 좀 서바이벌 등수가 어떻게 되던 간에 그냥 저희가 좀 연습한 게 나오게끔만 하는 걸 목표로 둘 것 같습니다.
Overall, in survival stage, we'll try to aim for showing our performance, what we have been practiced. So I think that will be a biggest task we have.
Fair enough. Well, that's Benny from Noxium Red Force. A dominant performance in day 3. That gives me good hope going into the survival stage. They'll be one of the most dominant teams out there amongst the top. But we'll have to find out and wait and see when we get to that very stage.
Thank you very much. It's so ridiculous. You got Alpha 7, Regnum Carrier, Falcons in the survival stage. How many teams did Max Man curse? 7, Neptura, I'm coming for you. Because Kalaris is back for the survival stage. Where's my coffee? I asked for it minutes ago.
The group stages had a lot of action unfold, and of course, right at the top of the tables, it was Alter Ego who swept us away, as did Four Thrive. So going into these, into the finals, they are our favorites to be looking out. At the start of these survival stages, though, we're going to see a few teams that maybe we wouldn't have expected to see here otherwise. Alpha 7, most notably defending, returning champions. They are going to have to fight for their tournament life here in the survival stages. Of course, we do have to say goodbye to the survival stages from Alpha Gaming. They were able to go all the way on up towards the end of the day. They started off a little bit slow, but they gained momentum and have managed to escape the, well, unfortunate situation of being in these survival stages, kicking off today. Along with them, though, will not be seen the Falcons. They are going to have to play here as well. They had a pretty shocking result here in the group stages. We expected more from them as the reigning club champions as well. They should have had a better time of it, but they couldn't quite find their footing in the group stages. Will the survival stages treat them any differently? From there on in, we saw Nongshim Red Force as well, not quite make their ascendancy despite having the second best day of any team in the group stages. They didn't quite make the mark to reach that bubble, and they will not be seen in those finals directly. They'll have to fight for a spot along with everyone else.
अब थोड़ी इसकी बकवास सुननी पड़ेगी आ गया मैं बस अभी थोड़ी देर में मैच चालू होता है उसके बाद मजे लेते हैं मजे कैसी आवाज आ रही है देखो जरा स्ट्रीम में
Well, there it is. Group stage has concluded. Day 3 is over with, and well, survival stage is coming up next. Of course, though, we've got to talk to the top dogs, Alpha 7. We got Revo here. He's always putting in the work, the MVP of Americas, and one that is looking to go back-to-back in his championship run. Revo, what's going on, man? I know today
what's going man
a little bit short, but let's at least talk about last year. You
बस भाई एक ही चीज का अफसोस और किसी का नहीं जो कि अपनी टीम आर्यन मतलब आ नहीं पाई यहाँ तक कर बस इसी चीज का अफसोस है और किसी चीज का नहीं है अरे भाई भी कमेंट कर रहे हैं यो ब्रो आज हिंदी में कास्टिंग देखने को मिलने वाली है ये चलो कोई ना स्ट्रीम बहुत ज़्यादा डिले चल रही है मैं दूसरे फ़ोन में अपने देख रहा हूँ जहाँ तक
Let's go back to Americas. We're watching you in phase 1. You all dominate. I think nearly double over second.
ये टीम अल्फा है हाँ टीम अल्फा है ये
I think second place if I'm not mistaken. You go into grand finals. You start off a little bit slow. It comes down to the final game. Wolves nearly take it from North America with Coops. You break in the top 3 though. One thing that you said during an interview with Seven, I believe it was, is you were trying new things, you all were having fun. What were those new things that your team was trying to accomplish heading into the global stage?
I think like PUBG is like that. You need to try new things. You cannot stay in the same place with the same game style. And not all the time like gonna work.
Okay.
Global stage, in American stage, everything.
Well, speaking of new things,
okay, मैं पानी पी के आता
you start explosively, just finishing behind Four Thrives in second place. 55 points, I believe it was. You were looking unstoppable, and I'm thinking the America struggles are gone. You've now returned to Hollow Grounds, where you were champions once before just last year. You guys are looking great. Talk to me about day 1, how you guys were feeling, and what do you owe the success of day 1's performance?
I think, to be honest, day 1 was not good. Like, just was good because we made 2 wins, but the other 4 matches was bad. The 2 matches saved us, but we was confident. We was confident today also, but don't worry.
So let's talk about today. We can go easy with it, right?
पिछले मैच का दिखा रहे क्या?
But you come into today, you only score, I believe, around 15 points compared to what you scored on day 1. Was it a factor of different groups, different teams maybe challenge you a little bit differently than day 1? Was it maybe the pressure starting to add up? Maybe vibes were a little bit off. What happened from day 1 to day 3's performance?
I think the most different thing from day 1 to day 2 is like the teams from the other group, of course, like have another
भाई ये टीम अल्फा का है क्या ये
Alpha
सब?
Gaming, everything are so strong. I think that's the difference. Like all the others.
बढ़िया खेल रही है वैसे टीम अल्फा
Well,
भी.
you were expected to make it into the finals directly. Now your job gets a little bit harder. You go into the survival stage. You should be, I would say, one of the best teams going to survival stage, in my honest opinion. You know, I'm always supporting you guys from America. Day one, though, you talked to Seven. You said there's no pressure
बहुत बढ़िया खेल रहे हैं.
whatsoever. Is there any pressure added now that you have to go to survival stage and your tournament life is now at stake?
I think, of course, I have more pressure because you are in survival stage. If you don't qualify, it's over. So we have a lot of pressure, but we can know how to take that.
Well, you're one of the best in the world, and honestly, like I said, you put Americas on the map. Our region now is taken very seriously because of your team's performance. Of course, I'm going to hand it back over to you one more time. What do you want to say to your fans? You're heading into survival stage, but I know the doubters may not believe, but I know those who truly know your performance, we are believers, and we think you can go all the way. What do you want to say to your fans?
Well, I want to say thank you for our supports. Keeping supporting us. We're going to try our best, and if God wants, we're going to qualify to finals.
Well, there it is. Revo from Alpha 7, a dominant player in his own right, a dominant team. Let's see how they'll do in the survival stage.
जैसे कि हमने टीम मार्कन को दिया था.
And we have 2 days to determine which 8 teams are going to be moving on into the grand final here at the PMWC. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, as we have got
कितनी सुंदर ट्रॉफी लगती है भाई.
all of these teams to put themselves on the map once again after a grueling group stage here. My name is Kalaris. I am your desk host. I've kicked Seven off the seat for the moment, but joining me to my left-hand side, Seven, we've got Neptura and we've got Max. Max, have you missed me?
No.
What?
Not really, no.
You were at my wedding. This is treachery. What?
Still not.
It's ridiculous. Ah, well, regardless, we've got a good 2 days to look forwards to here, Seven. I am hyped to be here alongside you guys, bringing you these fantastic games.
I'm hyped you're here with us too. Last time you were the desk host with one of these shows with me. I think it was like 2019, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm happy we're back together, baby.
Was it that long ago?
It really was.
Jeez Louise.
Back in my day.
Okay, all right, yeah, I'm slightly older. Well, anyway. Let's talk about what we've got coming up for, of course. We have got, well, actually, it's a surprising list and lineup of teams here that I really didn't expect really to be in this survival stage.
I think there's been a lot of surprises over the last weekend. It's been an interesting few days. We've had some upsets. We've had some maybe surprising teams actually going forward to the finals, but we're all talking about the survival stage, and we got some teams that we want to see go through that we think are kind of shoo-ins to go through, and others that might just actually upset those teams even further. I mean, we did see some cool stuff in survival, or in the group stage rather.
How do you feel about Falcons being there? Oh, there you go. No comment.
Sighing.
No comment.
I'm sighing internally.
It was a rough time. Let's take a look at the Jamil Motorsport player walk-ins as they are now leaving the hotel to make it towards the venue to try and get themselves out of the position they find themselves in. Again, it really does, though, Seven, speak to the quality of the teams and the players that we've seen so far. When you look at the list that has had to drop down to the survival stage, PMWC is elite wall-to-wall.
It definitely has. I feel like I'm pleasantly surprised, and I'm happy that some of these top dogs are going to be in survival stage, and they're going to be challenged a little bit more. I honestly, even though I had Alpha 7 in my predictions going to the grand finals directly from group stage, with the way this team has been performing, I'm glad that's not the case.
Imagine Alpha 7 here, again, one of the best teams in the world, reigning champions here at PMWC in Riyadh, not even making it to the finals. That would be one of the biggest upsets we've seen in years, right? Like any PUBG Mobile Esports, and if Regnum Kara also don't make it, what's going on?
I don't know.
We want that Grand Slam. Come on, Max.
Don't say that. Please.
Yes. It would be impressive. I mean, considering that they are down here, it's kind of blown my mind a little bit as well. You're talking about teams that would normally get second places or championships every single tournament. But let's take a look at the Qadir top players of the day, throughout the whole of the group stages, I really want to say here, as all of these teams looking excellent across the board. Kino, though, starting things off here, Neptura, they need a little bit more spice here in the survival stage, I think.
I did say I wasn't.
यहाँ भाई फाइट बहुत गंदी हुई थी जिसने देखे ना भाई वही जान सकते हैं यहाँ का प्रेशर क्या था.
Okay, so should we go to the cursor, Max, or what do you want to do?
You know,
I support Kinotrope. I love Kinotrope.
Okay, now he said that. I have to say I support Kinotrope to try and offset that. I do think they're a good team. I think they've got a lot of potential. Did we see that in the group
और
stage?
भाई ये शॉक शैक में नॉक लिया था भाई बहुत खतरनाक.
That was really
Explosive
nice.
bow. Sorry, I just had to joke.
ये देखना
Maybe Kino
खत्म.
needs a little bit more explosive bow in their lives.
I don't think that's going to save them. only Sook can play the
One
explosive
thing,
bow.
Fair enough.
one thing to keep in mind there with Kino as well is that for most of the players, it is their first global tournament.
Yeah.
So it could have been a bit of nerves coming into the first week, going through group stages, media day. Like the first time that these players are experiencing that, they might crumble a little bit. They might be a bit shocked. But I'm intrigued to see what this team is going to be doing in survival stage. Now that the nerves are out of the way, they are going to be feeling that pressure a little bit more. But I'm hoping that it is a much better performance for this team.
Well, we've got the Crunchyroll reactions as well. Let's take a look at all these players getting themselves heated here in the desert for the PUBG Mobile World Cup. And suffice to say here, Max, emotions were really riding high for a lot of these teams who, I mean, some moments here as well for teams like Power, they kind of got themselves a victory coming out of Milta, for example, over on Erangel. It was a slow and steady game for them, but they did get the victory.
Yeah, I mean, a very, very passive game for them, staying
Yeah.
also just trying to make it to the later stage of the match. Very good execution. I would love to have a local team qualify, maybe an R8, maybe they can try and make it this time around, maybe a Power also, that would be great. Though, I'm still waiting a reaction here on the Crunchyroll side to come through from top that almost broke a desk last year. I want to see him break it this year.
But in a good way.
In a good way, when he's happy. No.
Yeah.
Yes!
Exactly.
Running down, yeah, I get it. I can understand why. And thinking about how all these teams kind of played things out as well. There were some surprise wins here and there, Neptura, but at the same time, there was some great control from teams to be able to just have a stable game. Of course, we don't see a lot of those in the survival stage, but even then, we've had some wins from teams here that have been able to, unfortunately, fall down to this position.
Yeah, I want to bring up one in particular was Nongshim.
Yeah.
They had 2 wins in day 2. They had, 16 points day 1, 60 points in day 2. Really coming back into their own. And so for them to come into survival stage, I think we could be looking at a really, really good contender here for the next 2 days.
Well, of course, across our group stage, 8 teams did advance into that final. As you can see, all the way to the top, Alter Ego looked spectacular, 7. Everything that they showed
भाई
me,
ये जो
I was like, oh, yes, I
ये
want
जो
a bit of that.
अल्टर ईगो जो खेल रहा था ना भाई इतना अग्रेसिव गेम प्ले भाई इतना बहुत अग्रेसिव गेम प्ले इन सबका ये सब भाई घुस घुस के मारते हैं ये ऐसे बंदे हैं मैंने देखा भाई मैंने पूरी मतलब हिंदी में कास्टिंग की थी पिछली वाली स्ट्रीम जो एक दिन पहले हुई थी.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of opportunities going into that next stage. But I want to highlight 2 teams in particular. Team Secret, big surprise from SEA. Wasn't sure if they were going to qualify. But EDA Esports, able to outclass...
और ये जो WBG है भाई ये सब भी बहुत खतरनाक है. और यहाँ पे हमको दिखती है अपनी टीम AXTMG जो कि अपने आयरन भाई की टीम जो कि इस मैच में शायद नहीं आएंगे. क्वालिफाई शायद क्या नहीं आने वाले वो.
I am interested to see what they've got going into this one now because it's one of those things where you've got the top 8 no longer here. So then you have not lesser teams but less dominant teams coming in here. Can they
जिनको आना चाहिए था भाई वही नहीं आ
can they
रहे.
take advantage of that and really just dominate the lobby in these 2 days?
And then for the 16 teams that are left here, they still have the potential to also dominate, right? If you look at the likes of Regnum Carrier, if you look at the uncharacteristic performance of an Alpha 7 here, 7, it becomes a case of like, okay, well if they go into a lobby like this, and it's a lobby that's not
और
moving
भाई
across
सच
2 days,
ये टीम
they
R8
can get
भाई
momentum and they can find
बहुत अच्छी खेलते हैं ये सब भी.
Is it time for me to just rip them apart, or am I holding on to that? Or
who do you want to rip apart?
Alpha 7.
Do it.
Do it.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. So I've been waiting for this the whole week with Alpha 7. Let me see which one is the one I'm looking at. That one right there. With Alpha 7, outside of the first day, they did absolutely nothing. This team was only able to get I think it was just 1 placement point outside of the wins. And on top of that, their eliminations just weren't quite there. On the day 2, 15 points total. This is from the defending
अरे जल्दी जल्दी आओ यार मैच चालू करना है. What are you doing bro? जल्दी आ सब.
The way that they're currently performing, I'm hoping that they're going to step it up in a big way. And if we talk about player performances, where's Rebel? Where's Mafioso? Carrillo is the only one right now putting up those points. 17 eliminations, and he's not even in the top 10. He's top 20. What are we doing, Alpha 7? This is not the Alpha 7 that we expected coming into this.
So we just saw them arriving there at the start of the Jamil Motorsports arrival here on location, and I think your rant is founded, right? I mean, Max, looking at how they play things out, they are the defending title holder here at the Esports World Cup for PUBG Mobile World Cup. It's difficult. I mean, we can look at the power rankings. We have placed them, we believe, in a position, clearly, of power, even though, actually, wait a minute, they're not there.
Power rankings.
We'd also place them alongside some of our favorites here in Alpha 7.
If you squint your eyes, it's actually Alpha 7.
Alpha Gaming, Alpha 7, you don't add 7 more and you're pretty much...
It should have been illegal to call themselves Alpha Gaming after Alpha 7 is so good in this game, but it doesn't matter. At the same time, though,
Dark Horses में भाई अपनी team.
right? You got Regnum Carrier, you've got Falcons there. Obviously, we're expecting big things from them, but there wasn't some deliverables coming in from Falcons in the group stage, that's for sure.
Falcons, every time I saw them, they would just split apart, lose the player left, right, and center, and then you just don't have the manpower to take a proper 4v4 fight anymore. It is just very surprising that we just didn't see anything remotely close to what they did back in PMSL.
और ये टीम AE है जो रैबिट जैसा है ना इनका लोगो ये टीम AE है भाई इनके साथ नहीं शायद आई थिंक सो टीम IGF की टीम AE है ऐसी है कुछ बट भाई ये टीम के साथ जगह जगह स्कैम हो रहे थे देखा हमने मैच कास्टिंग जो करता रहा भाई पता होता है यू नो दैट अभी देखो बस थोड़ी देर रुक जाओ मैच चालू होता है कास्टिंग देखना फिर मैं
because as you were mentioning this, it seemed like a little bit too all over the place, and he didn't really want to tell me any secrets. Fair enough in regards to the way that they play, but then he kind of spilled the beans a little bit. He said that they usually expect a lot of the other teams to be a little bit more scared, and I feel like that might be the case here in this one.
We have favorites. We also have contenders and dark horses. Neptura, who jumps out to you when it comes to the
ओ भाई ये क्या है कितना बढ़िया लग रहा था
Power impressed me a lot coming to day number 2. I think their setups in the mid game were really nice, large spreads over on the edge of circle.
ये क्या चीज़ है भाई
The key master.
Key.
I thought they did so bad that they removed the key.
Yeah. They're like, no. Look, it goes back on the wall when you get a win. No.
था क्या
They're not dead yet. Like
ये सब लगा रहे हैं क्या
Look, they're all right. They're all right.
I'm like, jeez, were they here in my rant? I'm sorry, guys, it wasn't that bad.
Revo just takes his key in the crusher. We're done.
There's still a chance.
But there will be crushes at the end of these 2 days, that's for sure here. So, I mean, looking at how everything unfolds, Niptura, I want to get more of your thoughts on this. Obviously, you were talking about power. Who else kind of really springs out for you here?
EA. I actually liked EA a lot. EA Arena was really good. I thought that they were inconsistent over the 2 days, right? But again, we saw a lot of this coming in from a lot of the teams actually in day 2. A lot of those first day jitters were out of the way. They started playing really nicely. Their setups were really good. Decent eliminations, just not quite enough to get to the top 8. But coming into survival stage, I think we could expect a lot from them.
I was talking to Junior from he said actually the biggest issue that is still reoccurring outside of PMSL SEA is the timing. They're just a little bit too slow to get involved on fights. If they can fix that one glaring issue, like Mormon in particular is a star in SEA. They could maybe be in the top 8 because you got to be in the top 50%. That is definitely achievable for E Arena.
कब मैच चालू करोगे
The edge barriers these teams are setting up are brutal at this international, and then teams coming in late are just trying to crash through and really not finding anything to work with, and they're one of the teams that may have fallen victim to that. Alongside the Chinese teams that have already qualified through, so they kind of were able to play the averages overall, but some of the teams have definitely fallen victim to this.
That was a pleasant surprise, by the way. Thunder Talk Gaming being able to make it straight to grand finals. I'm happy to see that. Now, talking about that edge play, talking about those teams having to move into the center a little bit faster. One team that was actually able to adjust, and I'm looking forward to seeing them how they perform today is AXTMG. They were able to get a win on the final day of group stages, and on top of that, just make adjustments through the overall gameplay.
Well, of course, here. Any final thoughts before I move on, Max?
I'm actually impressed to see Yangon Galacticos do so well at the first stage. We see a little bit more of how aggressive they were. So
समझ गया अरे ठीक है समझ गया
guys. Well, of course, we'll get more time to talk before the games actually do play out here for everything to go down, but it is the survival stage. You only have 12 games to make it through, join that finals, and get yourself a place in what potentially could be a history-making run if you're able to get through the survival stage and all the way there. Let's head
5 4 3 2 1 और यहाँ पे सब आना चालू होने वाले हैं शायद आ जाओ भाई, क्या कर रहे हो? कहाँ रह गए सब? बता है यार, रिवाइव कर भाई, मर गया। जिंदा है, जिंदा है, जिंदा है। Beat the heat. Let's go yo.
16 teams step into the
Casters
Sports
आ
Arena
चुके
with
हैं।
one goal in mind. Survive.
अच्छा।
3 days of competition slipped through their fingers last week, and now they are staring down the barrel.
अच्छा।
And so, my name is Barney Banks, and I am your host. And welcome to the PMWC at the 2025 Esports World Cup. The next 2 days of competition are going to truly show our team's capabilities and where they stand, because they're going to be fighting for survival. So, on East Day, we meet them, starting things off with intense game.
चलो आ गए सब। टीम कौन सी है भाई? अरे कौन सी टीम है? I don't know brother, sorry. ये बड़ी अच्छी टीम है भाई। गेमैक्स भी आ चुके हैं यहाँ पे। ओ भाई, अरे और फार्मिंग। ये कौन है भाई? ये आ गई टीम पावर। आरजी आरजी। नाइस नाइस, आ जाओ आ जाओ, जल्दी जल्दी आजिए, जल्दी जल्दी आओ। यार जल्दी जल्दी आओ। दो वाइट, दो रेड, ब्लैक बदा है। ये क्या भाई? शिंजो सता गया। जापान से तो नहीं कहीं। और ये है हमारे टीम आर्यन, शायद ये टीम फैल्कन भी आ गई। वो अपने आर्यन भाई थे ना। अरे यार कमेंट तो करके बताओ, देख तो रहे हो, कमेंट करके तो बताओ।
There's a different kind of tension in the air today. Is it the realization that the next 2 days could be their last? Survival can be summed up in 3 words. Never give up. Let's see which of these teams live up to that statement. It is time for the survival stage.
भाई ट्रॉफी ऊपर कर दी गई है।
That's right, Banks. It's all or
भाई
nothing
कितनी
for
मस्त
these
दिखते हैं
teams now.
ट्रॉफी
There are no second chances across these next 12 games, and we have some titans of PUBG Mobile here who are staring down the barrel. Will they be able to overcome the challenges that they will face here in the survival
Alpha
stage? Again, joining me at the
7.
desk here to talk about it all, we have, of course, Nepturo, we have Maxman, and we have Seven to talk about it. As Alpha 7, our current defending champions, our defending title holders here, are currently facing potential elimination. Let's see if they can make it out. I think they may, But let's talk about some of the other teams that we want to talk about here. Nepturo, of course, as another huge titan of PUBG Mobile. Regnum Carrier currently also finds themselves down here as well.
And no one expected that to happen. I mean, Regnum, they've been the most talked about team, I think, even above A7, really. I feel like they have gotten the most conversation about them coming into this event. And here they are in survival stage. I will say in their defense, though, that they actually had a really good group stage. 42 points day 1, 39 points day 2. That's very, very consistent. It's just that with a 2-point difference from 8th place, somebody's got to be in that 9th place. Unfortunately, it was them. But for me, they didn't play very all that badly to me.
I would agree. I think it was just still a really good attempt, but it's nowhere near what we saw back in PMGO, right? Like that, they are not up to that level just yet. But no, they're getting back into it. I saw that right now that I think Topic was bouldering, and you had Silas just chilling next to the pool. They're having a good time. They're feeling comfy here in Riyadh, but they're going to try and make it in the top 8.
Final thoughts here before we get to it, Seven?
It's going to be Team Falcons. I want to see how they're going to be performing. And talking in regards to players, Narvalo's one team that I actually want to see him step it up a little bit more. If I'm not mistaken, I think he ended up with 0 eliminations for all of group stage, which is insane.
That's a disaster. That is a disaster. And I mean, they were only 37 points across the group
Motivation,
stage. To head into the game here. It's an understood situation why Alpha 7 and Falcons are being focused on here. 2 massive names who are now here in the survival stage. Let's head over to the casters for game number 1 here.
Thank you very much, James. We are locked in, dialed into position, and excited to kick off the survival stage here live from Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. Myself, Jackie, and of course the magnificent Black, who are going to be bringing you the action live as it comes.
Voice cancellations दिए जा रहे हैं इनको.
As always, very Maxim-esque.
Very Maxim-esque indeed. And look. It's going to take more than
और यहाँ पे पहला मैच रैंगल का होगा. ओ सॉरी लिविक नहीं क्या था सैड हो सॉरी दिख गया मैप दिख गया ब्रदर. और जो पहला मैप होने वाला है वो होगा लिविक.
It's not going to help too dramatic. That's what I mean. Like, dramatic. He's behind you.
लिविक न्यासन हुक. तो यहाँ हमारा फाइनली मैच चालू होने वाला है जो कि पूरा 30 ऑलमोस्ट 40 मिनट के बाद चालू हुआ है भाई साहब. 40 मिनट के बाद देख लिया जाए कौन कहाँ उतर रहा है.
To the finals here in our survival stage. Taking place over the course of 3 days here. Our rotating lobby Ivis looking at the same 16 teams every single time, which is going to make things slightly easier when it comes to those drops. Figuring out where you need to go, where you need to head. If you've got one rivaling team that's going to be taking
हमको यहाँ पुरानी टीम देखने को मिल रही है.
dropping on top of one team. I'm assuming
हाँ पुरानी टीम हमको देखने को मिल रही है. यहाँ पे टीम AX जो कि हमारी टीम आर्यन है. यहाँ ये हो कह रहा कुछ समझ सी तो नहीं लग रही बट तुम्हारे कास्टर बैड है भाई दिक्कत नहीं है कोई. कट रहा है भाई फ्रेम ना छोड़ो.
Struggled on day 3 a lot, but it will be R8 losing one player early on. That's between them and Yangon Galacticos over towards Paradise Resort. 2 pretty integral locations on the map is Paradise Resort as well as
वो वाली टीम नहीं दिख रही भाई. टीम WBG वेयर इज. और यहाँ पे हमको पहली बार देखने को मिल रही है टीम R8 और टीम YG के बीच में. जो कि पहले ही एक बंदा खा चुके हैं टीम आर8 का, टीम वाईजी। यहाँ पे 1v1 में टीम आरजी के जो बंदे थे वो नॉक कर दिए गए हैं, और यहाँ पे एक आखिरी बंदा जो कि टीम आर8 का बचा है, और यहाँ पे वाईजी का भी एक लास्ट बंदा बचा है। यहाँ पे पहली टीम कौन सी डोमिनेट होने वाली है, और यहाँ पे टीम आर8 सबसे पहले एलिमिनेट हुई है ये वाले मैच से। टीम आर8 कोई बात नहीं। और यहाँ टीम एनएस और टीम एएक्स, जो कि टीम एएक्स हमारे आर्यन भाई की है, और टीम एनएस जो है वो दूसरी है। ये हुआ क्या? वेट अ मिनट, ये भाई मेरे को जगह से ना कुछ जाने पहचानी लग रही है। क्या यहाँ पे टीम आरएस एलिमिनेट होने वाली है? और टीम पावर के बंदे ने केएन के बंदे को मार दिया। और यहाँ टीम के एन जो कि शायद पहले लूटने में ध्यान देगी, क्योंकि यहाँ पे ये जो मैच है यहाँ हीलिंग्स वगैरह और बुलेट्स की बहुत ज़्यादा ही कमी हो जाती है। यहाँ पे पूरा प्रेशर बना हुआ है टीम एनएस और टीम आर्यन के बीच में। वहाँ पे अपने आर्यन भाई लो किए गए, बहुत तेज, मतलब क्या कह सकते हैं, बहुत ज़्यादा। और वहाँ पे लड़ाई हो चुकी है टीम एनएस और टीम आर्यन के बीच में। टीम एनएस ने एक बंदा खा लिया टीम आर्यन भाई का, हाँ, बट हेनरी को खा लिया गया है। हेनरी ब्रदर 3v4 की सिचुएशन है यहाँ पे। यहाँ डिबोर्ड भाई मेरे ख्याल से मतलब साउंड लेने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं उनकी, और ये जो टीम है मतलब एनएस के XZY है वो उन पे सीधा रश मारने की सोच रहे हैं।
It makes no sense to me either for Falcons, because if you're on that rotator from Sami, you've got a quick angle to get across that bridge there. Remember, Thunder Talk's out in the game. Camp Alpha technically open. Alter Ego in the game. That's the
यहाँ पे बड़ी खतरनाक फाइट हो सकती है टीम एनएस और टीम आर्यन के बीच में। अभी भी टीम एनएस के चारों बंदे अलाइव हैं, और जो टीम आर्यन भाई है उसका एक बंदा छीन लिया गया है जो कि हेनरी था। यहाँ पे भी कुछ कर नहीं रहे, मतलब रश वगैरह कुछ नहीं कर रहे अभी। पता नहीं टीम एनएस शायद रश ना करे इन पे।
It's a slow roller.
This is certainly a slow setup here as well. Doxy just playing on the edge towards the doorway there. You've got Cyrax in position. If he runs in, baited out by the shots, you should get a quick connection off with the DBS.
थोड़ी सी आवाज बढ़ा देते हैं, हाँ काफी इतनी।
There's only 3 of them left, of course, with Henry falling early.
और यहाँ पे अपने सेलेक्स भाई को नॉक कर दिया गया है, और यहाँ पे अपने यार टीम आर्यन फिर से एलिमिनेट हो गई है। ये बहुत बुरा हुआ यार, क्यों?
He got the hit reg off, and he just doesn't do enough damage. I think the annoying thing for him is that Doc C just goes in with such careless abandon that it's almost hard to hit the shot on him. Yeah, AX going down there does feel pretty rough, but for Nongshim Red Force, definitely a positive sign for them. Getting ahead with all 4 players up. Power loses 2 as they move up easy.
अब यहाँ पे हमको दूसरी फाइट देखने को मिल रही है, टीम BSN और टीम कौन सी थी देखने दिया, कौन सी टीम है भाई देखने तो पहले।
My opinion, yeah.
भाई गुस्सा देखो टीम आर8 का भाई। वो भैंस की
That's a
पूछ
lot of emotion. Yeah, I mean, you know how much
यहाँ हमको
it
टीम
means to
VSN
them.
और टीम
And that is a brutal
पावर
start.
में
When you've got to
लड़ाई
sit there
देखने को
just
मिलने
to
वाली
really
है
absorb the
जो
atmosphere of the
कि
other teams now. No influence you can have on this lobby.
शायद
Dude,
टीम
it also
VSN
causes
जीतेगी
problem for you into
क्योंकि
the
यहाँ
future
पे
because now
एक
you
बंदा
kind of
नॉक
consider
है
whether you
टीम
should keep
पावर
going
का
back to Parash Resort. True.
तो इनके ऊपर
It sets
थोड़ा
a
बहुत
precedent
प्रेशर
for
है
Yendo. Galacticos. Al-Haji's still down. Managed to get 2 elims.
और जो टीम हाइड्रा शायद इन पे रश करने की शायद थर्ड पार्टी करने की हिम्मत शायद ना करे पता नहीं क्या होगा देख लेते हैं अभी खुद ही क्या नतीजा निकलेगा इसका और यहाँ पे जो टीम VSN है उनके पास 2 बंदे बचे हैं और जो टीम पावर है उनके पास भी 2 बंदे बचे हैं आई थिंक सो टीम पावर का एक बंदा रिवाइव नहीं हुआ हाँ
The Northwest Island, it's so crazy. 4 thrives in hard
Aryan bhai
top inside the mountain. Teams should know.
चलो यार क्या कर सकते हैं
No one went to any of these spots either. I wonder if they just assumed that they would just be running into hot drops, and it's just hilarious to me that we instead get hot drops on ruins as well.
और ये जो पावर स्पोर्ट्स है भाई हाँ इन्होंने बहुत ये भी मतलब बढ़िया खेले इनके 4 एलिमिनेशन है और ये जो NS जो है ये भी बहुत बढ़िया खेल रहे हैं
So comfortable as well for power, right? With that third party set up towards the ridge side there.
अभी तक टीम NS सबसे ज़्यादा बढ़िया खेल रही है ना एक बंदा गवाया इन्होंने ना कोई कुछ किया मतलब मतलब देख रहे हो मतलब कॉम्पी लॉबी में कोई किसी से नहीं जल्दी लड़ना चाहता क्योंकि किसी को बहुत कम अंदाजा होता है कि क्या है मतलब अंदर बंदों के
Toxic has that nade towards the backside. You've got a bit of a reposition from Joker there. He was the man that took a big blow onto Falcons.
ओ भाई क्या दिया है टीम ये के जोकर ने क्या हिम्मत मारा इनको और ये इन्होंने पहले फिनिश करना ज़्यादा समझदारी समझा क्योंकि एक जो किल है बहुत ज़्यादा जरूरी है
That could have been a big amount of damage going through. Mormon has to back off the building. Nasty bounce on that one will cause it to jump back. But the shots coming through from Team Falcons now. Finally made that decision to cross the bridge. Took them a while. And it required Ian to make that move first. But for Regnum Kaya now, they need to speed up this fight.
They've got to clean them out, remove Mormon from the position, so they've actually got some backline cover with that roam up from Falcons. You're going into his domain though. DBS, oh, nice moves to at least try and bait him off with the peek from the side, but Mormon's ready for the first.
While down.
बढ़िया बढ़िया खेल रहे हैं सब.
Not ideal whatsoever. Not an easy circle to play for Regnum Kaya. Getting in here on this engagement, I think for Loxy, he's getting caught on the backside here. No information. It was a bit of a weird one, the 1-3 split going on. The timing's just a bit off. It's a good
जो टीम रह गया मतलब उनका देखो कि समझने की मतलब कोशिश करो वो उनके 2 बंदे कैसे मरे होंगे एक तो उन्होंने खा लिया चलो टीम IG के बंदे ने एक कहाँ गया एक का मैंने ध्यान नहीं दिया आपको पता तो बताओ
They've got no clue where these bullets are coming from either, scanning the horizon.
भाई टीम ये भी ज़्यादा कुछ मतलब फाइट से नहीं लेना चाहती
feed as well. It's that delayed fight that was going on between Vision and Power. Trapped in the compound for quite some time. Nofit was the one just guarding, watching over the top if they did peek out, but intermittent skirmish
दूर
just
से
between the two teams.
टक गोली चला के इनकी कार को बहुत ज़्यादा डैमेज कर दिया गया है
And this has really been starved out as well. It's just that duo left.
शांति सी हो गई मतलब
A team that really could go so far here as well. You know, one of the horses that you were expecting to at least be able to push through, make it into that final race. Talented squad. Vision do finally fall though, taken out.
Eliminate कैसे?
Yeah, Alteki, very shiny coat on that one coming off the back of PMGO. And to be honest, I put a lot of stock in that team.
Yeah.
I put a lot of stock in Regnum Kaya. I do think they can go far. They get pitched out because it is such a fierce battle for the top on day 3 of group stages. I think it was 2 points. 2 points to start
really close,
making it in. I think they ended up on 9th place there. So Regnum Kaya, I still think they can go far here as a team. Not a great start though over on Sandhawk. They do have technically one of the strongest locations right now.
ये टीम एलिमिनेट हुई तो हुई कैसे, मेरे को समझ नहीं लगी। हाँ ब्रदर।
Actually get the Falcons move up onto them as well. They've been biding their time for a while here. Meanwhile, we join the action with Alpha 7. Of course, defending champions of the trophy and the title from last year, but a very different look with how they've seen out on the battleground. Riva with the first contact, good shots over at least. Able to keep himself behind cover.
Not sure what Doxy's doing here, just kind of open themselves up for Revo to take any shots that he would like. Over the top, will hit hard. Doxy will go down.
जो टीम A7 है वो टीम NS पे थोड़ा सा भारी तो पड़ रही है। पूरा कर भी पाएंगे कि नहीं कुछ नहीं पता यार।
Difficult location for Falcons play from them. As we head up towards Regnum Kaya as well as E-Arena, it's just a bit of a hill, right? It's pretty sheer, and again, if we keep circling in on this location, it's going to be downhill battles for some of these teams, and more often than not, an uphill battle for quite a few of them.
यहाँ पे टीम NS बहती गंगा में हाथ धोएगी पक्की बात है। दूर से इन्होंने फ्रैग निकालने की ऐसा कोशिश जरूर करने वाले हैं। अभी देखना बहती गंगा में हाथ कौन नहीं धोना चाहेगा भाई। अब ये जो करने वाले हैं ना, जो नॉक करेगा उसको बहुत ज़्यादा गुस्सा चढ़ने वाला है।
He's been quite consistent, I'll give him that as well. It's been nice to see what Squash has been bringing to the roster.
He's fitted quite well, you know, like a glove. It's nice to see.
ये कहाँ जाएगी भाई टीम?
Just get on board with him. They're right though, they do have to try something different. It's not working because this is very different for Alpha 7, I would say. It's a much more passive playstyle than we usually see.
टीम A7 का एक अरे भाई टीम पावर भाई इन्होंने टीम BSN को एलिमिनेट भी कर दिया था। हाँ सच, टीम पावर बढ़िया खेली, 6 किल हो गए इनके। नाइस नाइस। थोड़ा संभल के खेलेंगे तो बढ़िया है, तभी जीत पाएंगे। और जो टीम फैल्कन है उनका एक बंदा वैसे ही जा चुका है।
The crazy thing to me is that E-Arena is not cleared.
No.
Because I get that Silence could take shots. I mean, if I'm E-Arena right now, I'm looking to clear Regnum Kaya as this circle starts to push in. A lot of these teams on the northeast side are worrying about one another.
यहाँ पर टीम WBG नहीं दिखाई दे रही, शायद वो नहीं है।
In this location, it's such a strong spot as well, considering like the surrounding area of it, where it's quite difficult to push over that location. There's a little bit of cover in terms of trees as well as the rocks, but you're a prime location. So the Falcons. Falcons managed to pull this back.
और यहाँ पे जो शायद ब्रिज कैंप लगा हुआ है टीम NS के द्वारा, जो कि नहीं हाँ टीम NS इसके नीचे लेटी है भाई। टीम NS की जो बिनी है भाई इसके नीचे लेटा हुआ है। टीम पावर को तो मतलब एम किया जा रहा है, बट इन्होंने ये करते करते अपनी बगी का भी टायर फोड़ दिया फ्रंट वाला। What the heck bro? What are you trying to do?
I guess this is at least taking the attention off Binny because he tucked in underneath the bridge a while ago and Nongshim had to back off.
ये टीम पावर के रैगनम को भाई कर रहे हैं टारगेट। वाह भाई खत्म, टीम पावर एलिमिनेट हो गई यहीं पे। नाइस, अभी तक बहुत बढ़िया खेल रहे थे ये सब, बट जैसे जैसे टाइम बीतता भाई सब कुछ पता लगता रहता है। तो यहाँ पे भी वही होने वाला है, कैसे कैसे क्या होने वाला है।
Man, he could be problematic.
For Alpha 7, they've got a fantastic spot to play out this game, at least get a top
Fantastic
four, right?
spot, brother, fantastic.
Bridge, you lose a player to bridge, that hampers your chances. In the meantime, Yangon Galacticos have been pushing in from the blue, right? Now they're up against Influence Rage, and Myrna sends a wild spray in over towards Diego.
Team भाई
He
जी
gets the shot around the side.
थोड़ा सा इन्होंने एम चॉक कर दिया शायद, मार दिया बट टीम बाजी खत्म क्या? हाँ यहाँ टीम बाजी खत्म हो चुकी है। टीम बाजी के भी 6 किल हो गए थे।
can't be too upset with that one. I think the fact that Yangon Galacticos gets as far as they do is already fairly impressive.
बचने की उम्मीद नहीं थी.
Moving across from that northeast side, they do clean up Kino Troop.
और यहाँ टीम के एन भी एक किल के साथ एलिमिनेट हो गई है.
Always on the long range, that guy. As we go in towards our next circle.
क्या हो रहा है मतलब आज के मैच में एनर्जी टाइप का मजा सा नहीं आ रहा इतना.
Almost no reason to be on the south side of
पहले
the
के मैचेस मतलब जो 2 मैचेस थे तो बहुत बढ़िया मजा आता था भाई उसमें.
Was that to Tizzy or Vinny?
इसमें मजा सा नहीं आ रहा.
It is sloppy. Yeah. It is sloppy.
हाँ टीम एनएस का बंदा इनको दिख गया.
That's the scary bit, because then obviously you turn your head on a swivel.
गया भाई अभी. टीम एनएस अब ये भागेंगे पीछे से क्योंकि वहाँ जाना कोई मतलब खतरे से खाली नहीं. और जो टीम एनएस का बंदा है और यहाँ नॉक कर दिया गया. मेरे को लगा ऊपर घूम के जाने वाले हैं.
Ignore that. Five looks over towards the east.
इनका पीसी क्रैश था क्या?
Right now they just need to clear a lot of these teams on their eastern side. But they lose one in Solars, which is not good. They have a lot more teams to deal with. They need a large roster to make that happen.
भाई ये बचा है?
Binny will go down eventually.
अच्छा वो नॉक हो गया तो वो पीछे भाग रहा है.
Winning on the north side.
बट नहीं बच के जा पाएगा यार. नॉक फिनिश.
Squash finally being able to finish that one off onto Binny as well. And you're right.
ये टीम डॉल्फिन वाला टीम आईजी. हाँ टीम आईजी 4 किल के साथ एलिमिनेट हो गए और टीम हाइड्रा भी 4 किल के साथ एलिमिनेट हो गए. और हमने टीम आईएनएफ का तो देखा ही नहीं. टीम आईएनएफ कब हुई एलिमिनेट? हाँ थोड़ी देर पहले शायद. हाँ याद आया. सॉरी. और टीम आईएनएफ भी एलिमिनेट हो गई है किल के साथ. यहाँ पे बहुत ज़्यादा मतलब सब्र करने के बाद टीम रैग ने यहाँ नेट फेंक दिया. बट टीम गायमैक्स भी जा चुकी है. यहाँ पूरे मतलब बहुत बढ़िया सिचुएशन बनी थी. बट टीम एई का एक जो बंदा है वो लेके जा सकता है टीम. हाँ बहुत बढ़िया. और इसने टीम आरसी को एलिमिनेट कर दिया है.
How has he got away with so much mischief? Just 2 of them.
35 seconds. I think he has time to get Sakura back up again, but yeah, Messi.
यहाँ जोन जैसे जैसे छोटा होता जाता है ना वैसे वैसे मतलब बढ़ता ही जाता है सब चीजें.
Take 2 angles. If you're getting shot, just back it up. Falcons though, fantastic spot. Could have had 4. Avalo didn't go down. But Alpha 7 do make it to that coastal side. Tizzy continues to be.
यहाँ किल चुराने की तैयारी.
He got the backline angle for a double spray onto Alpha 7.
They know he's here.
They were aware from so long ago. Exposed themselves to
टीम जो A7 है वो अभी तक बहुत बढ़िया तरीके से खेल रही है. पर नहीं और यहाँ पे टीम A7 एलिमिनेट कर दी गई है.
Between either team, we say goodbye to Alpha 7. Falcons looking to put themselves in a good spot.
I thought Falcons just take down Tizzy there.
टीम A7 ने 3 किल किए थे और जो टीम एनएस है वो भी 6 किल के साथ एलिमिनेट हो चुके. बट यहाँ पे टीम ईए जो कि 8 किल के साथ पहले नंबर पे आ चुकी है.
In that top 8, who were finding the most success there. Nate goes down.
अरे वाह क्या नेड मारा भाई. बिल्कुल 1 HP.
No big deal.
That's nuts.
बिल्कुल 1 HP कर दिया था भाई.
On target, but he barely survives with a sliver of HP. Difference is obviously when you look at the battle of attrition.
एकदम 1 HP
जिसको कहते हैं. Left alive going into this. Want to play off one another, rotate over from Fireflux as well. The arena in position to at least get a shot potentially back onto Redox from the side.
Scarface is not. He's a bit of an unknown factor here for these teams because he is incredibly good when it comes to these open sight lines. They also have this ridge to work around. And Fireflux are currently inside the circle. Falcons have to push out into that open ground. E-Arena also need to move, but they're close to the circle, so they can afford to wait slightly. You can see here Koa as well as Ralph edging closer and closer. That's a big Molotov. Very, very nicely placed. That's Ralph going down, and Koa has to play in the smokes, but there's Scarface.
Oh, here he comes. Unloads the magazine, gets a clean connection off Sakura down, sideline back over from Redox, goes both ways. Wave goodbye to E-Arena, leaves us in the final fight with just two squads, Fireflux and Falcons.
This is fantastic from Koa, man. He has to immediately start moving up. He knows he can't delay. And I think actually Fireflux won't expect him being this close. Like, that was a stellar decision from him.
Catch. Spotted out from Redox in the back line. Prime nade from Koa, chucked back over, calls it quits on the push back up. 2-2 split. A lot of distance to work with here. Uphill battle, just spots out the head, but it's a quick timing on the peak. Scarface, back over, bullets down, heavy tag.
The only thing is that Redox almost scares him off the position that Koa was going for with the nade. This nade's coming in quick though. Koa sends a nade down, does good damage over towards Ketch, and Scarface is yet to toss the nade just yet. Could air burst over towards him. Koa's taking a 1v1 and Ketch will win it out.
Oh, the Tommy Titan unloads the magazine, shuts down the first. Redox with a big task ahead of him. Quick peek up over the rock face, battling back with the DBS, trying to keep them isolated. Give himself 1v1s. He's got the heal in. Quick peek back around, trying to see if he can bait them on the face. If they give him an opportunity, he could snatch it up close, but Scarface handles it, and they will snatch that one away.
It's a dangerous proposition. Scarface will be letting some scars into the battleground there from long range. Give him a sight line, give him an opening, giving him an open field, that it's hard to deal with him. For the Falcons though, again, cannot give enough praise over towards Koa. He is just making some big movements. I really do think if Redox doesn't take those shots there, potentially that nade goes through. It's a little bit of a miscom, potentially. It might be a case he has to take those shots to keep himself alive, but yeah, frustrating. Definitely frustrating stuff there.
It just felt like the pace, very slow burn on that one as well. You can see they're not over-regging it. I don't know if that's going to be a problematic issue though as well, but there just isn't that much level of instant engages, the quick confidence, the plays you'd expect them to make. A little bit more timid, they walk away with second place. Fireflux take that one to kick off the survival stage. We'll bring you more action in a few minutes' time.
Cybertron's future is near. Autobots, roll out! for all sentient beings.
A region notorious for excellence and inflatables, apparently, here for the Esports World Cup. And we have got ourselves a victory for Fireflux. Impressive stuff from them coming in on Sandhawk and being able to get the dub. Joining me, Seven, as well as Maxman. Fireflux, man, I mean, they were able to win things out on the eastern side. It was looking a little bit tricky there, Max, but they did make it work.
I like Fireflux, man. A rename is happening. Fireflux, man. No, playing Trifecta, there was a lot of teams. I think there was Kinotrope, Influence Rage. There was also Our Point Horror. Just, we don't want to get involved in that mess over there. We'll just wait into the deeper side of Trifecta, wait for all the teams to fight and eliminate each other, and then we transition, claim the high ground to go for the win. It was a clean, executed chicken dinner. I do think other teams maybe showed more potential, but we finally get a Turkish chicken dinner instead of Regnum Kara, which is kind of impressive.
I mean, for a team that has a lot of experienced players, this is something you and I were talking about, Max, coming into today, is that we were kind of expecting Fireflux to be a bit of a dark horse today, right? The experience is there. They just haven't really been executing a plan. So for them to get a chicken dinner here, it kind of sends a bit of a red flag to all the other teams that they are here to win it and make it to the grand finals.
I mean, because if you tell me how do Fireflux tend to play, passive does not come to mind, okay? Their team, they see you, they chase you down, they get the 4 points. Here, they were just playing very slow, which that shows growth for me, that they might be able to make in the top 8.
I think something that was cool about their approach towards those final circles is they were hedging their bets. We were talking about how the coastline can be very strong in these kinds of circles, but also you have Scarface North trying to position as if he could potentially take the high ground. Once the circle shifts come in here, Seven, they're like, okay, we can take this high ground, we can leverage this against their opponents, and I think it was really good for them to have options available.
Yeah, and at the end, I mean, you saw them being able to react to Koa once Koa was trying to get an angle on them too. Quick reaction, making sure you eliminate them, and now you turn that into a 2v1. Red Ox was just not going to be able to do much. One team that I did see there towards the bottom of the leaderboard, and I kind of have to call them out, is going to be AXTMG. Once again, with this hot drop on Nongshim Red Force, you could tell Nongshim Red Force does not like that. I mean, they're wondering if it's going to be happening tomorrow. Now, the reason why I bring this team up is because for AXTMG, Sandhawk is usually their best map. Now it's time to put up or shut up for that team and make sure they get points going into Erangel.
It's not BMPS, you know, you don't have as many Sandhawks as they have over there. And why do you want to start your best map with a hot drop? Like, I'm sorry, it doesn't matter. You can be good at the map, but hot drop is just pretty much 50-50, and even if you do win it, you might lose players, and you don't have a chance of winning the game.
Especially since there's other options than Ruins down there that nobody's at. So you could take the same rotation paths as well, in theory.
Yeah, I could see why they did it, especially because remember, they won that first hot drop back in group stage, and then it kind of forced them out. So they're feeling themselves, they're feeling confident. Yeah. They think they're going to do it again, but that was not the case. I'm hoping that one of these two teams is going to be giving up. And if it's any team, I would highly suggest for AXTMG to just step away.
You're talking about AXTMG, R8, Yangon Galactico. That was happening in Paradise Resort. I thought it was completely resolved after the group stage, right? We know where all these teams drop. So you know these compounds, these cities are overtaken. Why is it happening again when you only have, again, 12 games? You need to make every game count, so this is going to hurt them really, really badly here for the survival stage.
Very small sample size of 12 games. And if 2 games on a Sandhawk are going to be an aggressive starts and things like that, I would argue in a really long form tournament, Paradise Resort's not that bad a spot to actually challenge for compared to a Ruins, right, Max? But I mean, at the same time, only 2 of them. I would rather you go trash drop near Paradise and not take that for only 2 Sandhogs.
There are so many teams. I mean, it's no Yasnaya. Like, it's not big enough to have 2 teams. If you want to fight for it, fair enough. But you could also just drop around, as you said, go for the trash locations around it and shut down the rotation of that team's trying to exit, because we have this trend of circles going always Northwest Island. It's happening every time. So you just just put yourself between Paradise and Northwest Island. Easy 4 points. Like, it's easy.
We've seen some teams in the past being able to do that and actually succeed with it as well.
Yeah, I mean, I can appreciate. So, for example, because we get so many of those Northwest Islands on Sandhawk here, Max, you don't have Thunder Talk in the lobby. You don't have Alter Ego in the lobby. So I like the adaptation that we see from Intense Games to try and drop up there. I mean, it's obviously a great spot if you can make it work. And we see Circle so commonly up there, but it really didn't materialize for them in this game.
Actually, yeah, of course, Intense Game is the obvious outlier that they took the E-Arena, the Alter Ego spot, of course, going into that. I want to highlight Regnum Karya. They know, oh, wait, that position is going to be free right away. We're going to send it right in the compound next to where typically Alter Ego or Thunder Talk would tend to play. So they snatch it very early on. I do think, unfortunately, E-Arena had a very similar idea and cracked the same compound. Like, you're already here, what's going on? But that did, unfortunately, result in an early elimination of Regnum Karya.
Well, not even early elimination. They fought for so long. It came down to 18 minutes, and then that's when the fight finally ended. And then nobody ended up winning because I think E-Arena ended up with, what was it, just 1 player, and Regnum Karya obviously getting eliminated. So not something that you want to see. Something I do want to mention, though, with Alpha 7, we were seeing them late rotate into the circle. We were wondering if that was going to be happening because of the way that the circle was going to be going. And then on top of that, they were just being able to surprise Nunchim Red Force. You had some players from Nunchim Red Force being able to now move on to the North Island. One thing I was kind of thinking about in my head, I was like, man, they're not clearing. They're not clearing that player towards the bottom, and he's going to be able to get him. I'm not sure. I can't remember at the top of my head if he did end up getting Rebel or not. But then on top of that, they know where TZ was, still on the South Island, and they still go for that push without any cover. It's just crazy mistakes for Alpha 7 to be making.
It felt like them and Fireflux both knew there is someone down there. We can't take the coastline as easily as we would like. You have to clear them out. And then it felt like almost as if Alpha 7 had got a little bit impatient with that push forwards and then being so open on that angle. It's a bit uncharacteristic for me, once again, of Alpha 7 here, Max.
Yeah, I just want to repeat what Blank said. They know he's there. They knew the entire time he was down there. Like, he was taking shots earlier. It was very surprising that even if you can't get rid of him because he's going to play very sneaky, play behind the ridge, he does not want to get eliminated. But the fact that they just send it on rocks and trees that, like, one-off angle can just destroy your entire setup was very surprising. So I think Alpha 7's going to have a bit of a wake-up call after this game that this is survival stage. Games like this, you're not going to get away with a, like, slightly good position. You need to be very, very careful when you take them over.
Yeah, definitely a wake-up call. And the thing is that we usually see a team being able to, like, kind of set up themselves. If you know that there's a player there, send 2 players in the vehicle, but at least have the other player keeping an eye out towards that South Island. That wasn't even the case. They weren't even worried about it. And that's the biggest wow moment for me. It's like, you cannot be making these mistakes, especially in an area that they have won games before in PMSL Americas.
Yeah, I mean, we could talk about Alpha 7 for a hot minute here. I actually want to highlight Falcons. Like, they knew the value of that underbridge and the coastal area, and they're like, okay, actually, Alpha 7 getting completely destroyed by Tizzy and the off angle over the side of that river. Let's just get an off angle of our own, eliminate them, and then get a very nice entry point into the circle for both Koa and the side, of course, of Red Ox. So I think we've seen a lot more in this one game alone here, 7, of Falcons than the entirety of the group stage.
And for Falcons, one thing that was a little bit sketchy for me was going to end up being just Rauf maybe overextending too much.
Yeah, I've got to look out for that. Well, thank you very much, gentlemen. It is time now to head over to the commentators. Game number 2, we change things up and head to the grassy pastures of Erangel.
Thank you very much, James. Excited for this one, but I think for the teams, Blank, you can see they are erring on the side of caution. We have seen moments of panic, frustration, specifically in the case of R8, and man, some decision-making where it feels like everyone's a bit more timid today. The survival stage and the title that comes with that, you can feel the true force in this arena.
Some of the teams are absolutely at risk, at Kayla risk, of going over the edge.
That's actually pretty good. I like that. I like that. And I'll tell you what you'll like, our official PUBG Mobile map feed that is now live on YouTube, of course. If you want to follow the games in the same way that me and Blank do when we're in the casting booth and we've got both screens up at the same time, giving you all the info, you can do it. And why wouldn't you?
You could be in the booth at home. We have Booth at home. We do now available over on PUBG Mobile Esports YouTube channel. Check that one out because it's going to be all important here, keeping up to date with all the scrappy rotations, the weird and wonderful turns we'll go through on this match of Erangel as it comes at you live here from Riyadh. Very excited to see how this one plays out because you're right. I think it's a perfect opportunity to bring this up. It's just they're stressed.
Yeah,
they're stressed, and it's not fun to look at. Teams, the tension is so tight, and I'm feeling like for some of these teams that string's going to snap and it's going to be explosive. I got to get back into this. I mean, you see Rebel just rubbing the eyes down. I mean, he is that last game. I mean, yeah, rub the eyes, blind to Binny.
Apparently so, right? It just felt like they knew about those positions. They were aware of what they had to do, but when it came down to decision making, it just wasn't Alpha 7. It really wasn't. It didn't have that same caliber that we know they can play to.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I was saying to you, it feels almost like you're watching 4 individuals that are fighting amongst themselves. It's not that sort of team ethic that we saw that took them to that title win last year, and a lot can change in 12 months.
Mafioso was the rock for that team, and now it's kind of Squash who's that player for them. It's weird as well because for Alpha 7, I mean, those 3 players have been together for the longest time. They have some very good grouping and play well off the back of one another. But I think the days are gone now where Revo could kind of just step up to absolutely anybody in the lobby, win with a DBS, just hands down. I think he has to play off the rest of his team and just having those moments where like, I'm just going to push up. It doesn't work anymore. Anyway, we banged on a lot about Alpha 7 there. Currently on a split up towards that north side. Let's hope it goes well in this game for them. And instead, let's take a look at Falcons. The last game could be described as some sloppy maneuvers. I think that they could make it through to the top 8 with that kind of play style. They looked a lot more solid over in PMSL EU. And I think they need to get back into things. I think for them, honestly, the pressure is probably less on here in survival stage, and it's pulled back a little bit, you know? That pressure to go straight to main stage, of all the crowd cheering for them, not as much for them here over in the survival stage. But again, it is still Ko who's making a lot of those big movements, a lot of those big decisions, and I'd like to see some more of the team, you know, step up for them, because right now you can't be the only one making those plays, forcing the team into good positions.
Yeah, I think again on that note as well, you could see sort of the high pressure decision making. The comms looked a little bit messy, and in the survival stage, I just don't think you can be allowed that luxury. It's got to be point perfect. The choreography needs to be nailed every time. And if we're ever looking at them where it feels like, oh, you know, it's paralysis by analysis, they're not able to instantly make that heads-up call, I just don't think that embodies how that team needs to play. We'll see, though, obviously. Game 1, right, we'll put it to one side. Let's focus up on the rest of the survival stage today. We're going to our second outing now. We'll see how the land starts to lie. Of course, relatively close grouping for the mid-portions of the teams there. Not gigantic point earners for the most part.
For Fireflux, I bet they're very pleased about the Sandhawk. I mean, it's been quite a while since we've seen an actual good Fireflux Sandhawk. I think they were always in the conversation towards the end game, but getting themselves a chicken dinner must feel very, very good. You saw them shouting. They were elated by that win. It's a good moment for them. And I think for Fireflux, this is certainly the spark that might start something special for them in the survival stage. For their PMSL EU outing, you know, it was pretty decent, all things considered. Couldn't quite best over towards some other teams, but I think overall it was a very, very good result for them. Sort of came out of nowhere on that last day and just jumped and jumped and jumped. For Regnum Karya, on the other hand, there have been some really good games. I think in their 2 days of play, the group stage, there were some really cool moments for them. What I think happened to Regnum Karya in that group stage is that they had a lot of situations where they could have capitalized, like Alter Ego, but failed to transition very, very late into the game, into something fantastic. And I think if they were able to do that, I think that would have given them the confidence and the momentum to push even further. So I just think for Regnum Karya, we're waiting a little bit. We are playing the waiting game. We can't wait forever,
No, you certainly can't. I think it's interesting as well, because obviously 4-5's had some amazing games. The team that always felt like they could have made similar plays was Regnum Karia. They were always in very similar positions with some of the circles we saw there. But like you say, just didn't quite capitalize on it. And we saw how well that went for 4-5s, right? Suddenly you absolutely blow the way up. They're looking fantastic, racking up those results. And yeah, I mean, again, man, like we're coming into this, they're one of the teams that you would expect to be able to make it out from this portion of survival stage. And I think with the talent, they should be able to bring it. But obviously, you've got to show that in the lobby.
I think you would be disappointed not to see them go through. And it's funny, actually, because the way things actually shape up right now, barring, let's say, E-Arena, which I feel bad saying, I think that's the only team that I'm sort of skeptical about. But if all 8 of these teams made it through to the finals, I think I'd be quite happy with that. Honestly, I think that makes sense. You know, Fireflux all the way down to Regnum Karia in 8th place. Now probably would switch out E-Arena with Horror, but I am prepared for anyone to make that big, impressive maneuver.
It's early doors, so we'll hold our reservations for now. See how it develops. Oh, AX, okay, up against Alpha 7 up on the hillside. Exchange of nades. Only a few left in the back pockets, couple thrown out. Relatively fragmented as well. It's Devotee that's kind of trapped on an island. Cyrax there, but the Bazon to support, not the best range.
Yeah, absolutely running low on ammo as well. And I mean, for Alpha 7, they've had to back off because it's danger close on the other side of Regnum Karia pushing up that way. Got intense game playing around Hospital. Typically, Regnum Karia is quite good at playing this position, where they hold a lot of space and just create problems for you. It's very central right now as well, so I don't think many teams are too unhappy with their spot for Alpha 7. They're dropping smokes right now, trying to get away. I think they're happy to just give this corner of Everest over towards AX. They don't want to get caught in the crossfire between 2 teams.
Quite a nice shot from Henry there. Good distance on it. Looked like the Mini 14 getting a tag from the sideline. It's Mafioso, so they are able to back themselves up. Of course, tons of cover to work with on this. She's not going to eat damage from the front line. Mafioso as well can kind of hold Edgard in this, get a bit of a read on where they're going.
Yeah, your only difficulty, right, is you getting pincered a little bit if you're Alpha 7. It takes a lot of coordination to realize where you are. For AX, they're in a slightly worse scenario where there's a lot of sight lines looking up towards that location. You can get pushed easily and then you become the pincered team. Typically, if no one heads up here, Alpha 7 does need to be very careful about this southwest side of Everest. Regnum Karia, that's going to play it slow. Yep, absolutely don't want to be doing that. I think you did see clear that actually go down to scout the building that currently Regnum Karia have held. And it's a good spot. It's a very, very good spot to play, quite open around there. You do have this little ridge side here, which prevents you from taking shots to teams that do situate themselves on this locale, but this is going to provide information back fairly quickly to Korea if Regnum Karia ever want to push.
Meanwhile, you get the POV as well. Nice little establishing shot here with the rotate for Horror Esports. Another team that I think, you know, we've seen a lot of good telltale signs, especially in that last game, some of the heads-up fights they went for. No Fear was making some nice plays. I think Sky as well, like the close range combat, dude, he was thriving. It felt like he was just kind of, you know, bring me more, bring me more.
No Fear's has his moments, right? And I think the Sky's able to capitalize on them quite a lot. But yeah, No Fear's been opening up a lot of opportunities for this team. I think they fell off quite a large amount towards the end of group stage. Weren't able to quite maintain pace with some of the other teams who were just living in large, right? Alter Ego were living their movie throughout the entirety of that one. I think for Horror, they just weren't able to match that. I think here in this type of lobby, it's a much easier locale to really display some of that strength that they have. Now, this is an awkward one. You can see a tons of team on the western side of this circle. You're pushing out over towards open ground, over towards Pachinki. You don't necessarily want to head over towards one of those cities nice and early here. But for your Team Vision, I think heading over towards Church right now, getting that high ground set up, you could easily go for something like that. You won't want Fireflux coming in from that eastern side to pick that one up too quickly. So yeah, I think for Team Vision, it is just a case of getting Vision over towards Church, making sure it's not taken, because it is an astronomical amount of teams that are on the western edge.
R8 as well, thrown into a potential bout between Influence Rage there, down towards the roadside. Marazin set up a couple shots back over Prestige, taking a hefty hit from Law, bringing down the gavel on that one. And again, you know, we already saw R8, it was frustrating. Their outing in the first game, it hit them heavy. The headsets were thrown off, the team was dejected instantly. So being able to at least withstand an opening pick here and bring yourself back into it, that's going to do more for the men. They do lose prestige, he's fully taken out, you get the response back over, so 3-3 left on the player count there between them and Influence.
Yeah, law gets repealed. And like you say, it's a case of we went 3 for 3. Right, I think us losing one player, you losing one player, can't be too unhappy with that one. At least it doesn't go unanswered, right?
Yeah.
But alright, if it went unanswered after that last game where they barely got to play, you're feeling so cold going into that third match. It's very rough. So they have to play in this game for a good 10 minutes from now if they want to get some more of that practice in, which you hope they've been doing over the past break day, or maybe they're taking a bit more of a relaxer. We'll wait and see. Horror over towards the east, coming in through from Pachinki. Yangon Galacticos down towards the south side though. See if they actually do end up battling against one another. I think they do have a player nice and up in front to hold those players out. Horror's going to have to go for something very quick here.
Could be an interesting head-to-head as well. Both of those teams have been playing with the pace a fair bit throughout the games we've seen from them. I think for Horror as well, you know, a lot of question marks. They play a little bit too passive at times, but they've been able to switch it on when they need to.
Pretty rough position going through this field. A lot of sidelines available over towards it. It's a little bit later in the game now, so not as many teams will be holding this. So they're just going to head over towards the south side of Pachinki. I think that's fair enough. They checked the buildings down towards that south side where Yangon Galacticos currently ended up, and they didn't fancy that smoke. So sending over towards that south side, taking the gamble on that one that no one's picked up in the meantime. They can potentially hold out R8 here. But it looks like R8's heading further down over towards Yangon Galacticos, which might have been a mistake for them. But next circle coming through. Ouch. Straight down towards the fields. Teams have got to plant themselves in here.
Hope someone comes along to water you to sprout into a chicken dinner. Kind of combining the analogies there. I don't know if that one really lands.
A bountiful harvest.
No, there you go. It's true. Some nice potato growth.
Chicken and potato. We like it. We like it.
Hey, that's a whole dinner.
That is a whole dinner. A lot of teams moving in though, over towards this field. You don't have much choice right now. This is going to have to be a fast migration from a lot of teams. You are burning rubber to get here. But where in here do you go? There's not a lot of options.
Yeah, limited space with a lot of squads to try and balance this out between them.
It's actually a great rotate from Falcons. I'm actually very pleased with this. This is fast. They're into a nice spot. Actually, this is one of the better rotations I've seen Falcons make, because this is a team that frustrates me so much because they'll see it. Never mind. Oh, Valo, come on. They'll see it. They'll see a location on the map that's free and they just refuse to take it. Honestly, fair play to these three players that made it through, because this is a good spot. They had to be quick about it. Yeah, sure, maybe Valo lost a tire. That's why he goes down there. And you can sort of respect the fact that they actually went for this for the first time in forever instead of sitting out on the edge. I am pleased. I sound angry. I am pleased. I'm pleased. I'm very, very pleased, in fact.
He's smiling. He's smiling whilst he says it. I can attest to that. Get a shot into the back line there as well of AX. Meanwhile, Horror in the rear, just trying to get vision down. A couple of bullets being fired out by Sleepy and Sky. That's Fireflux, of course, that took the opening chicken dinner of the survival stage.
It looks like they're healthy for it. Right? They're giving it this game. They are over towards that northeast side though, and Horror currently has that high ground against them, but plenty of little cover to play around with. This little ridge side as well is a nightmare to assault. I think Horror sent a player far down towards the south though, who might be able to take some shots through. That's No Fear. Still, it's not easy to thread the needle if you want to find a pick off. Either way, No Fear's creating space for them to push through in the end. Kino Trope. Not a bad location from them, very, very central. Honestly, I would be very, very happy to see Falcons do well this game. But with Gamax on the north side, who have caused them problems multiple times in the past, we'll have to wait and see. But we'll put a pin in that one.
It's Alpha 7. and do get the shots off with a Mini 14 at least back onto AX. E-Arena similarly nipping at the heels on the chase there. Seems like Lil Boy goes down to Kinotrope. He was able to find that shot towards Narvalo moments ago when they went for the reposition towards the compound where Gamax were holding.
There's some brutal circles, Jackie. It's very brutal. Kind of the Crescent Moon on the eastern side, just filled with fields, and then kind of open area. The grasslands over towards the western edge. It's a bit bumpy though. And there is some tree lines to work with. I think Intense Game does find a nice little neat moment. Squeeze through the gap on that west side, but I think they're likely wanting to be holding out those teams like E-Arena, who would be likely coming from that compound on the west.
Heads on a swivel here for Fireflux as well. Found a stab back over towards Vision. Able to take that man down out of commission. Still looking for more, potentially reposition back over from Scarface onto Horror. Meanwhile, on our screens here, you can see the nades being cast out down towards Intense Game. The Dolphins have got to make a move quick.
It's one shot.
He couldn't quite land it though.
Madness. Sleepy does go down. Scarface actually pushes really far out towards the eastern side. It's a nice pickup from him. I don't think he needs to push this too far though. He can probably come back towards the team. He's just making sure that Sleepy ends up in the blue. And he can confirm that, which he will do now. Intense Game, lobs nades. Too close. And then too far. And then yet again too close. So the geometry on that one, not great.
More shots into Horror as well. Obviously Fireflux setting themselves up after picking off one player with the aggro push from Scarface. Everyone else is being able to shoot towards them as they have to bail quite a far distance in open ground.
What is the options here, Jackie?
Just run, man. Head held down.
Falcons do catch off one of the players in Sky. He was getting a little bit too close for comfort for them. But they're going to hold this position. They're so going north as well. Good for Falcons. More time spent in this compound means more time at safety. Silas is able to find AX, but Silas will get taken out by Intense Game, giving them no chance to pick their player back up again. They had a 2-2 split going on. Wild wasn't able quite to grab him. I say long shot, by the way, down that south side versus Alpha 7, and they find him.
Yeah, that was the steal away from E-Arena as well, even off the back of the knock from R8 there. But Alpha 7 feeling a little bit uncomfortable. Obviously Intense Game similarly in the angle to work with.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't really know why he was peaking that in the first place. Like, they've got to think about what they need to do next, and R8 has to move in. Like, there's limited time that they can take that long angle on the western side. I just don't think Mafioso had to make that peak, especially when he's placed himself on the hard edge of the blue as well, where the north side can see you. Not enjoyable. Yeah, I don't see them lasting very long here.
Now, it was a nice attempt on the rescue mission, I'll give him that. Obviously, for what it is, though, Squash is able to lock this angle down. He's been really crisp as well. Good tracing. You can see even from distance, able to keep on target. Obviously, you run the risk of going for the save on your teammate. Instead, both you go down because of it. So again, it's a really brutal game for R8. Meanwhile, here we can see E-Arena on the crash down. They're going to see if they could shut down Intense Game. Flashbang right in the corner. Keep you concussed. The shotgun comes out. Joker trying to make things work, and they will do just that. Goodbye, Intense Game.
8 elims again for E-Arena. Weird moments where E-Arena like has these cool plays, but then will completely cool off. The engine will stall, and we see if that happens right here, right now versus Alpha 7s. They make their way up. They hear the fighting. It's a good opening knock, and they're sending more in. What are you doing? Oh, let him crawl in at least.
So grouped, they give that one up basically for free with the shrapnel being thrown over from Alpha 7. Al-Haji even taking pot shots from the side now, got an angle on the top of the ridge. The nade follow-up, that should basically be E-Arena completely blown to bits. I mean, you've got one guy, it's just Joker trying to get away. Everyone else in a horrific position.
It's a good clean up onto intense game, but if you're E-Arena there, now's not the time to start looting up, it's the time to get going. Right, you got to figure out your next move. Teams are moving in from your south side. You should know that from that compound that was sat underneath them. Tony K goes down to Al-Haji, who's bringing the pain in this game. In the meantime, most teams are on the outer edge. There's not a lot of area to play. You can see here, it is just barren ground. And that bountiful harvest we were talking about earlier might not be quite coming through for a lot of our teams.
Oof. Koa getting the spot there on towards Solus. Damage back over from Power as well. As Vahidin's able to show his impact to Power Gaming, revving the engines, keeping the momentum going. For R8, they did get the revive back up onto the knocked players. There is still 2 alive in commission. That was Marth with the heads-up maneuver to keep him up whilst the attention was turned from Alpha 7. Of course, on that E-Arena crash that we saw moments ago.
For R8, they made it a fair way into this game. I think they had to. They needed something to give themselves a little bit of confidence going into the next matches after that first one where it looked brutal for them. It looked absolutely brutal. Power in the meantime, though, like a locust over on this western side of the map, ruining all of our crops, realistically. Taking one shot after another at stragglers. The more they clear on the western side as well, the more strength they'll have in towards that end game. It looks like Easy's going to scout down over towards Alpha 7 here. We're getting peppered.
And this is that split from Regnan Karia that aren't actually in a bad position whatsoever. You can see the bullets over from Loxy. He's got them pinned in. Marth trying to take a couple of shots from the side as well, see if he can steal away anything from this. Revo's realizing, man, like the entire team is just being cauterized. They can't get towards one another. You are trapped in position. Marth getting the headshot on that as well, coming back to haunt them. They threw the first stone at R8, but instead that's just fragmented the entire team for a late game finish on this one.
Ida getting knocked there out in the open. Again, for Korea, respect their attempt. I mean, he had to get out there, couldn't wait around for the vehicle to pop. It would have taken his life. He's managed to crawl all the way across the Revo, though.
Kind of impressive. He's actually made it that far.
Yeah, it's a good smoke train. Eden goes for a blind nade. A guess on it. Just having a look at the smokes. Toshpik goes down, as does Loxy. That's a double knock on the nade. Wild's not there to assist, and this should be a free and easy maneuver coming through. That must have been directly through those slits on the top of the shack there as well. What a nade that comes through there. Oh, yeah, I think you leave him. I think you leave him. I think if you're Wild, you're looking for a survival game. I don't even know why you bothered.
You got to know when to cut your losses on that one.
Yeah. No one to fold him.
Exactly, man. Can't be going for these gambles right now. This is not the time to do it. I mean, at least with the reset, obviously, you've got the 2 players from Alpha 7. They were able to get the pick back up in Korea so they can play off one another, but they have to just bail. The position was compromised for so long. Kinotrope inside of the Sly Hut there. Back towards the hovercraft. Tuck in, see if they could steal that one. Key still in it. Nade over the top, just into the back line. If that's on target, it could be uncomfortable, and they're pinned in at least. You got the flames in front of them, the nade over the backside. Hora getting hit by Easy as well, makes that look easy.
Up stage, Korea goes down. Just Revo still up. Nongshim Red Force in the back lines as well, taking shots. Some good nades, some good ordnance coming through from Kinotrope to keep them at bay. In the meantime, Falcons will have to deal with Gamax on this north side eventually. They played a slow game with one of the only teams that had a compound for this long, but they need to step up now. All right, versus Gamax, this is where they need to win this fight. I think it would be a crying shame if they lose this engagement.
It's insane as well that like Fireflux have just been able to set themselves up and live their movie. Just sit pretty consistent damage down. Obviously, you had Alpha 7 trapped, so that's just a free elim. They're able to take away that team. And they have been sharing this land for so long. I mean, Gamax have basically been sat here with 2 players for an absolute age.
I get that they were wanting to wait for the pushes to come through, but I do think they could have held off on those nades a little bit. But I think Falcons just wanted to confirm their cause on this north side. It sort of makes sense. They will have to move down now. it really depends on how aware they are of the rest of the circle. Like, what's the scenario? What's the situation? Have they been keeping tabs? This is a long ramp from Koa over towards Power, which I personally think is really dangerous.
Yeah, this is kind of insane. Honestly, this is a Power that look really strong in this match especially. They've been playing some great PUBG Mobile. The fights they've been taking, it's heads up, it's quick decision making, they're relying on one another. Push into this, you better be ready, Blank.
Yeah, it's nice. It's very nice. I will say, though, from Koa, the ramp he made on at least his hillside, quite safe to go for, but he does not give a damn. Koa is dragging the team at times, kicking and screaming into these locations. And if it's the case that Ralph's making these calls, Koa is absolutely on the money when it comes to it. He's like, you want me to go scout that? I'll do it right now. No hesitation. And that's an initial knock coming through over towards Ragnar.
Yeah, that might have thrown you a bone. That's from R8 as well. So is R8 being able to get the shot into the backline? They could engage off of this. It'd be the opportunity to go for it. Obviously, you can get that player back up pretty quickly, though. They're giving them time to work with on this. They've got a little bit of cover for it.
Yeah, they have to move down. But I think they understand that for Power, they've got to move first. Likely they'll send south, which I think Easy's doing right now. Kino Troops just been living inside that shack for a long, long time. No one's been able to get close enough to send nades in. It is very much in the open. 2 loot crates to work with, though, for Fireflux, so they get a gift from up on high.
It's tight on the elims as well. 7 for Power, 6 for both Nonshin Red Force and Fireflux. You feel like they basically just had freedom to wait for the push to come towards them. Easy set up with a bit of paranoia about Marth's angle. He knows where he is now off the back of the shots that were fired over. Just the risky run of leaving yourself exposed from the back.
Doxy's going to move, and soon. Ralph knows it, just hold the angle. Has a rough idea now where the other players are, from Fireflux at least. Pass that information back across. We'll take this shot, and he was just looking off to the right. Oh, caught slacking. Ketch will pick up that elim. They could crash this if they wanted. I think they'd much rather get rid of Power, though, first.
Still, the moves Power have been making. You'll push back over onto Marth, you steal away the bit of cover from him for now. Still 3 players alive. Getting a lot of reads onto this. Attention being drawn over towards Fireflux as well from the majority of the squads. And the Kenotrope still just being able to live on borrowed time. Just sat tucked in, dropping the smokes, keeping it uncomfortable for teams to get close.
Again, I think what's happening right now is the nades used by Falcons versus Gavax, which I think was unnecessary. They were going to go down at some point either way, as that blue pushed them out. Koa does find Ketch. What a shot. And what a timing on it. No one goes down, and they can crash it. I think they have to crash it. Ralph's going to send it first here. Dropping as much medication as possible. Complete misread on the angle. Has to be happening from Redox. Koa's left behind, and Matcap lives this one out.
Oh, man. The shots from the side from Kenotrope are huge as well to buy time, and this comes back to bite them in the bottom. I mean, you can get the res back up, get him in position. They've still got a good angle to fight with on this one. Fragments them massively. And for Power, they might be in a spot to potentially steal some of this away. You got the scout from Vahidan at least looking for the read back over.
I'm just not entirely sure what the idea was. I think they'd bought themselves some time, in which case they could start looking out over towards Power. They didn't even bother to try and scout those players. Ketch is going to send out of the way, immediately ducks down, M79 in the hands, but it will be Ragnar to find those shots, just barely clipping him through the grass. I don't know why Ralph would have wanted that angle in the first place. Like, where do you go from there? I think your only option was to wrap west.
Yeah. For Fireflux, it was awkward as well. The supplies were running so low. He had no shells left for that. So when he drops, couldn't fire out smoke to shroud himself. Both of them now go down. You're out of commission, leaves us with a final 3.
Oh.
Koa barely crawling into the zone, belly on the ground, looking for the angle towards Kenotrope. Oh, the timing!
So exposed. He can take this Shack though and play in it. And hope he gets a second. There's a player on his right though, and he does not know.
Ragnar with the angle, nade over the backside, shots at the feet, so low on HP. One bullet and a dream is all that he'd need. The peek back up. Oh, the knock on the Ragnar fragments power, but they've still got the manpower advantage on this one, and it's down to Falcons with just Koa. Peek over the top side, spots the head of Easy, shrouded with the smokes, but bullets coming in from 3 separate angles.
This is a nightmare scenario. Just has to guess the angles. We'll just send back. I mean, well played to Koa. Again, it seems like the player on that team that sort of has his head screwed on a little bit. I don't understand that push from Melf. I don't know why he'd want that position from Fireflix. Again, he just try and wrap on top of power. It's an interesting one, Jackie. But again, Falcons do get themselves a second place. I love that they push that position. A lot of times they just won't take those opportunities when they're right in front of them. And this time at least, they picked up the leaflet.
Yeah, they bit at it when it was provided. It might not have been as clean as they were hoping for, but I tell you what, for power, they were mopping up squads like a spilt drink. Some fantastic action on that one. A great second game, an early chicken dinner, and looking more like the power that we know and love.
It is about time there for power as well to start pushing those numbers upwards. It was good play, very well played. Obviously, sweeping on that western side was really nice. Heading up that top side, it's an unfortunate game for Narvalo. I think we've had plenty of moments there where Narvalo has gone down a little bit early. Not necessarily his fault, it's just a struggle on the rotation. In the meantime, we're going to head right over and rotate back to the desk after this short break.
I'm currently here with Team Gamex ahead of our survival stage. I have to ask you, why do you think it was that the group stage performance was a little bit of a struggle for you boys?
Because it's like our first international tournament. Even we have like one player, it's first his tournament ever, LAN tournament. So we struggled, like we need more experience, just time, need more time, and I think we had it for the first 2 days on group stage.
And how have you boys been supporting him, you know, with it being his very first LAN?
Yeah, it's the same game, not changing. Like if we play in online or LAN, it's like the same game, same tactics, just different team, like more powerful than our region, but still we can do it.
And speaking a little bit more about the performance that you had, there was a distinct lack of eliminations throughout a lot of the games. Talk to me about the game plan heading into survival stage. Can we possibly see more aggression coming through from you?
In survival stage, I don't think we're gonna play aggressive for this stage. As a team, I think we will play by the way who make us win only.
And obviously my last question for you boys, you headed into this entire event having won the National Egypt Championship. Do you think the play style of all of these international teams is much different?
Exactly, too much different, because like national championship is way different with international, because like we have 14 national and then BMSL and then BMWC, so it's a long way to get here.
Would you say that the competition here at EWC is way more difficult than the national?
Yeah, exactly, than ever national region.
All right, well, best of luck to you boys. I'm hoping to see more fight coming out of you, and we'll see you in the survival stage. Thanks.
Well, we have Power overwhelming here at PMWC, as Power's been able to take the first match on the grassy pastures of Erangel. Joining me is Seven, as well as Maxman. Seven's loving it. He loves that Power's been able to take this one. Talk to me about Power.
I was just happy to see them play like how when we would just tell them, good job, we were watching PMSL MENA. And the reason why I said that is because they would end up third-partying quite a lot. You know, don't worry, I'll break it down for you. 12 eliminations out of this team, but they were just being a lot more proactive. They were third-partying fights. They were making sure that they got a lot of ground. At one point, they were having a 1-1-2 split, which was quite impressive. And then, I mean, at the end, the way that they were able to play that perfectly, just waiting until the last second, sending 2 players towards the south, maintaining 1 player there towards the top of the hill, that was the winning play.
All the teams in this game were pretty much in the field like, please, sir, can we have a good position? Power, no, this is our mountain. You're not going up here. And actually, because of that, they kind of push away E-Arena. They eliminate that team onto the western side, and they avoid Alpha 7 from claiming the high ground position pretty much this entire game. So they were very, very controlling on that little high ground position up northwest. So Power, they had a really good setup on their second day of the group stage, and it seems like we are seeing a bit of a continuation of that here in the survival.
Another strong fight back from Fireflux as well, coming in as the only team really from the east. I thought maybe we could have a bit more of a 2-2 split going on for them. The 4 in that one location seems a bit much, Max, and it did cost them some casualties.
Well, unfortunately, you got a lot of teams around you. You have Nongstrom, you have Falcons looking your way. One little hay bale is just not going to cut it, defensively speaking, and you're just going to be losing players. So it didn't work out for them. It's unfortunate, good entry point, but the circle is just forcing you in a bad spot that you can't defend properly.
And it didn't help them that they were just focusing so much on the fight happening between Kino and then Alpha 7. They didn't even realize what was happening towards the south of them. Zero scouting, it ends up hurting them.
Let's take a look at the match report overall here for this one, as Mr. Joker here getting himself 6 eliminations. Catch though, that's actually quite impressive damage from coming in from the fields, Max, considering that you're really trying to bunker down, really not draw too much attention about yourself. So that's very well done.
They were trying to play it silent until Power got involved, because they got in that one building on the high ground position of that big plateau up north, and they were just getting naded to hell by all of Power. Like I think the Power were just out of utility after that fight. They just looted the crates of the arena. They were really struggling at that point.
One team though that did have a potential semblance of control.
Oh no!
Do you want me to bring up Falcons?
We can talk about Falcons all day.
Yeah, should we?
Yeah, let's do it. All right, let's look at this. We don't push 1 by 1 normally, and what are Falcons doing? 2 solo drive-bys right next to Fireflux to instantly punish it. This is literally, you use this as an example of how not to do a push. And Falcons, unfortunately, a team that we expect to do well, just not able to claim that control. That could have been a game-winning angle if they got it too.
It really would have been. And I think what keeps hurting this team is just losing Narvalo so early on. Once again, back-to-back games where they end up losing Narvalo, and they're kind of forced to do this kind of pushes. They're maybe not expecting it. It is a dumb push, something that we're not used to out of this team, but then you're going to have to readjust. Luckily for them, Koa did decide to stay in the back and very proactive, showing why he was the MVP for PMSL EU.
I actually think if that fight, even if they do beat Fireflux, I think the car keeps going in the blue zone. So I think it was like it's phase 8. I think they still go out even if they win it. So that was a bit of an odd one. Don't do that. Don't do that. Stop.
Yeah, fair. A difficult though finish for some of those teams in the fields. Obviously, as you say, Power though flexing down to the bottom to establish even more control. We were musing over the idea of whoever's going to win out these hill fights from that west side should have a good opportunity here to be able to get themselves big points on the board.
Well, at one point, we even saw Alpha 7 when they were being a little bit passive there towards the edge play. Where, okay, let's see where you're going to be going, right? Are you going to be going towards the north? Are you going to be maybe fighting Power? Are you going to be waiting for a third-party situation? And no, they just end up deciding to fully send it with 2 players towards the middle. It didn't end up working out them. For a split second max, though, we saw the hovercraft. We're like, maybe? But it didn't end up working.
I mean, the hovercraft in the field finish is like
pretty good.
It's a gift from the gods. Okay, just have, especially when it's exploded, it's just a fortress you created at that point. I actually played a game of Ultimate Royale. I had 4. we had 4 hovercrafts, and you just like make a little building, and you just
ridiculous.
Did you win?
Yeah, no.
All right, well,
like we got
never mind. Well, we have a lot going on here. Not only the PMWC, but also we have the PUBG Mobile Airdrop Carnival, and it is live this weekend from August the 1st to the 3rd. Log in, summon surprise airdrops, and collect 2025 airdrop vouchers to enter prize draws for official merchandise, smartphones, BD partner rewards, permanent in-game items, and more. Every participant is guaranteed to win. Additionally, jump in game now and vote for your favorite airdrop partner. You might even score some awesome surprise gifts from them, which is very lovely. Don't miss this year's Airdrop Carnival and unbox your lovely surprises, Mr. 7. What do you think about that?
I've done it.
You've done it? You're on? You're good to go?
I'm not going to say what I got. Max?
I haven't done it yet, actually. I've done my in-game predictions.
You've been busy. You're here at PMWC.
Yeah, true.
I thought you were unboxing surprises last night. Oh, man.
Shush you. It's time to get to the game here at Erangel once again. Game number 3 for the survival stage. Let's head to the casters.
That's right. Oh, man. You caught me off guard.
Oh,
hello.
Shut up, you.
All right, my bad.
Shut up, James. We're going to unbox this game right now.
Okay, he's just gone for it.
I try to give you one of these.
I didn't see that.
Oh, I try to do the... So, for clarification, try to give the old...
He's waved a hand at me. He's given one of these. Yeah, he's given one of these.
Yeah.
Let's do it together. Are you ready for game 3 on... Well, I was going to go for of... But you've kind of, you've gone the wrong way there.
Good.
Yeah, but you've gone for the wrong word.
You've got to deal with that.
Well, look, you've gone for the wrong word, and that's fine. We'll let you off. Everyone shame blank in the chat.
Was there a script I was meant to follow?
You don't follow the script?
I don't have one.
Well, you should have.
I'll wing it, much like the play.
Silly boy. Actually, it's pretty good. It's 2 wings.
It is. A double winger. That's me and you right there. On either side. Double propellers. On either arm. But yeah, we're heading over to match number 3. I am...
You tangled?
Tangled, dude.
Untangled?
I've untangled myself.
Good.
This team's going to have to untangle themselves from this awkward playing path, which is a straight line, but the drops are not easy. You're going to get a little bit lost in the forest of the drop.
It's quite a windy day.
It is. Getting blown all over the place. In the meantime, a lot of teams will have to send far north here, or as north as they can get on this particular plane path, and it will change some of these drops up a little bit. Started expecting Kinotrope to maybe try and hot drop over towards the Falcons, but they're going to head down towards Ferry Pier, which I think is, yeah, that's open, so that's fine. They can take that. It's your turn now.
Wow, it seems like you want to do all the talking.
Hey.
Just wondered if you keep going.
No, bro. I'm done.
It's all right. We do a little back and forth here. We're trying out a new stand-up comedy routine. Let us know if that landed. Otherwise, we'll just do normal intros for tomorrow.
I tried to make it very clear. I didn't make it very clear.
Yeah.
Let's be honest with myself.
Well, that's fair.
A little bit of introspection
But
is
The
good.
Rock doesn't give a damn about what you've got to say, because I'm all about the gameplay. And that's what we're here for, Blank. Now you talk. Now you talk.
Can I
That's
speak
you.
now?
Now you talk.
My turn. Back on the mic
Dropped a
again.
woo.
It's my turn.
A woo.
It's amazing.
Give us some gravitas.
I'm quite gravitas.
Yeah.
Woo!
There you go.
Was you like that? Was that good?
Surely that's got everyone hyped up, right?
Yeah, I'm hyped.
Yeah.
I've hyped myself up.
Good.
Yeah.
I'm glad. You'd need to.
Look at this. You know, we got a little bit of introspection. You got to hype yourself up, get yourself into it. This is the advice I would give to all these teams.
Ironically, that actually is a pretty good summary of the sort of mindset you need to be going into. Halfway point of the day, right? You've got to try and get those jitters out of you, forget about what's happened in some of the games for the rough starts for a few teams. Try and keep that momentum building. For a few of our squads, they certainly have been able to pinpoint that momentum. The power here, looks like we're thrown into an opening bout, though. Instantly versus Influence Rage.
And the Rage of Easy, the last day of group, certainly influenced them here. They've turned into some absolute monstrous opponents. Currently second place. Oh, that is a beautiful jump.
Hell of a jump on that.
Look how serious he looked as well.
Oh yeah, you've got to be focused up. This is horse gameplay. That's what we're bringing to you live.
Through the fields of Erangel. Straight hoofing it.
A glorious gallop. The Stallion. Power Gaming.
Ragnar in the front lines, charging back to his team to assist.
That is not a trot. It is an all-out sprint for domination.
He's coming.
He stopped.
Oh, he's too late.
Yeah, he might have needed to be a bit quicker on the horse rotate. It's not really worked. Influence Rage are able to fight back and take down one of Power.
Oh, and Vahedon's in a bad spot now. There were some shots from the sidelines coming through, but Vahedon's all on his own. Just got the pumpy up top side. Ooh. And he takes a disgusting tag as he drops.
Yeah. Yeah, indeed. Mac 10 Madness up close. SMG slaps him upside the head. Ragnar from the top side, though, does start to show what he's made of. Bullets down range. Fragments, Influence Rage once again. Lil Boy got to make the move. Drop the smoke, see if he can get his teammate up. Nade from Easy. Ooh, only one, though.
We know that he's a bad boy when it comes to it. Let's see if he can hit this one. It will be very influential. Goes through and bounces. Easy. After the M60. Ragnar's just sending it, dude.
He's going in. Close on the doorway, ready for it.
He was late to the party. Everyone's already left, but he's determined to keep the music pumping.
He just dives into action. 17 bullets in the clip. SMG. There's the secondary if he needs it. Pull out the UMP. Yeah, you know me. Ragnar about to make some crime scenes on the dive by. Lil Boy down and out. Not the big man in this situation, but the turnaround from Ragnar. Feel his wrath.
Pulls out the 4-bullet. That's all he needs. Nade goes through. Ragnar dives out the way, but somehow on the stairs still takes the tag. Diego will find one. And we are in a 1v1 between Easy and Diego topside, but in comes another team. It is intense game.
As everyone starts to cheer Ragnar's name. Intense game, drop the shush, the silence over the fight in the compound. Diego tucked in, trying to play on the back foot. Easy. About to be hit with a heavy nade up close and personal, just a desk to provide cover.
Playing it safe, Molotov in. Have to climb this one or just fully take the brunt. Walks out the way. No one's seen him just yet. Gets the tag. We'll find the knock, but it's not enough with Silence, who will silence the party here. The boombox thrown out the window. Diego in a tough scenario now for Influence Rage. Power will take the #1 spot, but for how long? Only 1 point ahead of Fire Flux, but they have had a good run today so far.
for Diego. You are sweating bullets right now. Off-angle peek on the side, couple shots connect, but Silence does not give a damn. Spams the shots into the loot crate, adds insult to injury. An intense game, make out with the cleanup crew plays on the fight from Influence, Rage and Power.
Themselves a 3 for 3. Kind of a wild step down, by the way, now I'm looking at it. Alpha 7 in 6th with just the 11 points. That drops down to 9 in 7th. We're into single digits all the way through to 16th. AX with a big fat goose egg.
Gamak's got a bail with his fajita, the hop behind the wheel. Terrified about having a bike taken out of him as Squash was looking for the setup with the trace. Able to limp out of there with his lives behind the steering wheel.
We're in pretty central. This is actually one of the more fair circles we've seen in quite a while here, Jackie. Regnum Kaya leaving Toshpik behind over towards Rozok just in case it does back up that way. And for Regnum Kaya currently in 9th place with just the 8 points. It's not been an ideal result, but heading back up over towards Rozok. This is a good opportunity for them. Team that we put a lot of potential in. Potentially this is the game to do it. We'll have Horror Esports wrapping up on that north side. Does Loxy go down here? Because they are just rocking straight up towards him. And it will be Wild to take the first. And that's the Kino trope of all teams.
Regnum Kari as well, taking hefty blows here. When you're down to 2 players, it's an awkward firefight between them. You're getting crashed on from either side with Kino Trope and AX. Diving into action off the back of the punch. Henry firing out bullets with the Scar, ripping people to pieces. Devotee locking down the wide sight lines up front as well.
2 points accrued. That 0-pointer completely gone. It's not the case no more. No way you're Molotov. Cooking Silence in the corner. Put on for barbecue. Unnecessary, but tasty. They'll take that point.
Ozzy Sands barbecue opening soon. Pre-order your tickets for the grand launch.
We got turkey on the menu. Kino Trope, 2 players up. Falcons off in the distance there. I think for Regnum Kaya, if I'm looking at it objectively, I think what happened there is that they've had a couple of games in the past. Ooh, nice nade, Devotee. A couple of games in the past where they've left Rozok and it's come back to bite them later on. So they tried to take this 2-2 split. But when you get this circle shift back this way, there is going to be a lot of teams flowing through this area, right? They want to play the 2 rows. They want to play the warehouses. I think it was a dangerous split, and they had to make a quick decision of whether they want to stay on Rozok or they want to regroup here. But they didn't have the time to make it happen. Ozi-san, final player left remaining. 1 Molotov remaining. We know that he can be nasty with it. It's gone.
Nade for the window. Wow. Meaty damage onto both. Able to withstand the shrapnel and at least stay alive for now. Arian setting up on the sideline behind the rock as well, trying to get a read onto Ozi-san.
This is getting awkward now. Falcons do peek their heads out of Pachinki as this one moves further away. Loot drop coming through. Take a look at the map and where we're heading next. This has been very central. Not so much anymore. Heads up over towards Rozok and Regnum Kaya. Oh, fuming, dude. Absolutely fuming. This has happened so many times to them throughout their tournament history this year. Oh, man. I actually feel bad for them on that one.
Shot back over from Sleepy as well onto Fireflux, having a great day of it. It's a catching a bullet. not in the manner that you would want to.
Hey, this is nice, actually. In the midst of all of it, Falcons able to find themselves a spot. Mafioso, perfect parking. That's going to lock down the doorway. Primed.
Reinventing the meaning of parallel parking on that one.
Vertical.
Oh, yeah. Straight up, ready to climb, and that's what they're going to be looking for. Alpha 7 going to want to find some points on this one.
Don't know how Ozzy Sands made it in there, but he has. For solo. This is Falcons' favorite spot, by the way. They love playing this position. My only issue with it is that the 3-story sometimes gets pushed a little bit too hard, and I don't think that the Falcons quite have a solution for it yet. I'd like to see how they play it out this game, because they have a huge amount of potential from this position. Nice high ground to work with, nice vision, claiming 2 buildings as well, and able to play off the back of one another with nades from that top side. If it continues to zone in on that area, you've got a good chance at that game. Alpha 7 looking for more points on this one, currently in the top 8, but they want to secure it a little bit more.
Get the little establishing shot as well, top-down POV, giving you an understanding of just how close these squads are to one another.
Ooh, yawn. Yeah, replay on this one. It was cinematic. It was cinematic.
Nearly made it through the window.
Did. Squeezed it through. Like a TARDIS. The window is bigger than you think.
Yeah.
It's bigger on the inside.
On the inside.
Yeah.
Yeah, if it's smaller on the inside, it'd be a bit of a shame.
It'd be weird, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
I went to my TARDIS. It's a closet.
Yeah. Where's all the space?
This is a high-tech machinery.
Budget cuts. We couldn't have all the space on the inside.
That would be a weird parallax effect. I'm not going to like it. Smile, taking some shots out the window for Yangon. One of their top players over towards that group stage, just putting a huge amount of work in. There is some games where Yangon's able to get quite a few points. Usually they do limp in towards those final circles though. This is hella awkward for Falcons as we send over towards that eastern side. Now Gamax might have played a blinder on this one accidentally. Obviously you don't know where the circle's going to go, but that's actually a really nice place to play and gives you a huge amount of control. Now Falcons is at the back of the queue. Fantastic compound a minute ago, not so much anymore. Horror's quite glad, despite being one of the first to this location, they didn't fully commit, and they didn't have to. They had the option to play on this eastern side, and they'll get a lot of benefit off the back of that.
Oh, gets worse for Kari as well, of course. Been trapped as just a duo for so long. Alpha 7 able to get the sight lines over, so we'll commit onto that with Toshpik being knocked down on his last legs. Loxy not really in a spot to quickly make the dash to grab him just yet. Nades over the top. Got the smokes on the bottom of the ground at least to try and provide some semblance of cover here.
For a team that starts in Rosehoek, they're pretty rubbish at it. Thoughts?
Just going to let that one ruminate, really. I just thought I'd let that air for a bit.
I don't think that they're bad at it. I think it's just indecision, dude.
Sorry, are you moving further away? Is that backtracking?
I am backpedaling. Yeah, I am backpedaling. No, I think that it's not a case they're bad at it. It's indecision. If I'm being real, it's indecision.
Fair enough. Well, I think that's also what we have seen a couple of times already, where it feels like the split on the instant decisions where they need to go for something that hasn't really been there, especially today, where it's felt almost like the pressure of the situation has been getting to them more.
Yeah, it's like we should move.
तो चलो अब देखते हैं क्या क्या हुआ है मतलब मैचेस में मेरे ख्याल से मैंने 2 मैचेस मिस कर दिए हैं अब क्योंकि इरेंगल चल रहा है तो आई थिंक से दूसरा इरेंगल होने वाला है शायद तो यहाँ पे हमारी 2 टीम्स पहले ही मैच आ चुकी है एक है टीम आईजी और एक है आईएनएफ और जो कि मैंने सोचा था जो अपनी टीम आर्यन है उनके यही मैच में 3 किल हुए हैं, पिछले मैच में उनके कोई किल नहीं हुए। यार ये क्या कर रही है टीम आर्यन, मेरे को तो कुछ समझ नहीं लग रहा, बट जो भी कर रहे हैं भाई बढ़िया खुद से खेल रहे हैं, बहुत बढ़िया।
And it's so funny because when Falcons start playing like this, like we just need these points.
और यहाँ जो टीम पावर है वो पहले नंबर पे अब आके बैठ चुकी है, जो कि 31 किल के साथ भाई साहब। और ज़्यादा कंपटीशन नहीं है इनमें, मतलब टीम फैल्कन और जो टीम एफएफ है ये भी ऊपर आके बैठ सकते बहुत आराम से, बस इनको इस बार किल्स निकालने पड़ेंगे। और यहाँ पे अब हमको टीम आर्यन और टीम वीएसएन के बीच में फाइट देखने को मिलने वाली है। यहाँ टीम आर्यन का पहले ही एक बंदा नॉक है। देखो यहाँ पे कंपाउंड्स में क्या होने वाला है।
They're not the best team in this lobby. I mean that is clear, right? Yeah. But
भाई देख
they are giving them
कैसे कैसे बंदे
हैं। It comes back to Rozok. Gamax also quite unhappy with this one.
भाई मेरे को नहीं लगता कि टीम आर्यन, नहीं भाई यार टीम आर्यन कर लेगी। अब वो उनके ऊपर हम क्या ही बता सकते हैं ना, हम कुछ कह भी तो नहीं सकते।
Could have been a very different game for them. Alpha 7 playing on that south side. Still at 4 players as well. I think it's a good position to play. You don't have to worry about a lot of the major action happening on that north side. You can
यहाँ पे टीम वाइज ही अपनी गाड़ियाँ बचा रहे की कोशिश में लगे हैं, पर उनकी गाड़ियों को दूर से स्प्रे दे के बहुत ज़्यादा डैमेज कर दिया गया है। स्कूल से ही डैमेज पड़ रहा है भाई। टीम एनएस डैमेज दे रही है इतनी दूर से।
It's been a little bit too slow for me from what I've seen, and it worries me really, especially in these kind of lobbies now.
जिस टीम की मेरे को उम्मीद नहीं थी कि मतलब ये ऊपर आएगी, बट वो अब ऊपर आ चुकी है। वो टीम जो टीम केएन है वो 8 पॉइंट के साथ ऊपर आ चुकी है, मतलब अगले मैच में के टोटल 10 पॉइंट होने वाले हैं। और ये क्या रश किया गया टीम वाईजी के द्वारा, यहाँ सीधा आके टीम A7 के ऊपर, और यहाँ टीम वाईजी की जो गलती थी उनको बहुत ज़्यादा भारी पड़ चुकी है। इसकी वजह से इनकी टीम एलिमिनेट हो गई। इन्होंने बंदों की पोजीशंस बिना जानी रश कर दिया। हाँ जेट भी हंस रही है भाई, क्या हो गया सीन। यह टीम मतलब थोड़ा सा अगर इन्होंने पोजीशंस वगैरह देख ली होती तो शायद ये सब कुछ कर सकते थे, पर यहाँ पे टीम A7 के दोनों मतलब कंपाउंड्स में बंदे थे। यहाँ पे टीम R8 और गैमेक्स के बीच को फाइट देखने को मिल रही है, बट यहाँ पे टीम R8 का बंदा मर गया। मेरे को जहाँ तक लगा था, क्योंकि सामने से अगर कोई बंदा जंप करके आ रहा है और अगर हम कहीं चढ़ने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं तो कहीं ना कहीं पड़ ही जाएगी, जैसे तुमने मेरी कल की वीडियो में देखा था।
Are away with it. Tries to ricochet the nade with the geometry there of the building. Doesn't quite land on target. So they get ample time to deal with the fragmented players from R8.
टीम R8 का भी एक बंदा अलाइव है जिसके ऊपर नेड वगैरह कुक करके फेंके जा रहे हैं। और यहाँ पे गेमेक्स के द्वारा टीम R8 भी एलिमिनेट हो चुकी है, और पीछे से टीम एनएस ने थर्ड पार्टी करने की कोशिश की है, जो कि गेमेक्स का एक बंदा नॉक करके उन्होंने रिजल्ट दिखाया है। अब वो रिजल्ट मेरे ख्याल से स्क्वाड वाइप करके दिखाने वाले हैं गेमेक्स की टीम एनएस, क्योंकि ये जो टीम है बहुत अच्छी स्ट्रेटेजी के साथ खेल रही थी। मैंने देखा था जो फर्स्ट मैच था, इन्होंने मतलब ना इन्होंने जोन के बाहर रह के खेला ना कैसे करके, मतलब बस इन्होंने बीच में आके खेला पूरे मैच में। और यहाँ पे गेमिक का एक और बंदा नॉक टीम एनएस डॉक्स के द्वारा, यहाँ पे एक और बंदा नॉक इजी के द्वारा। और अब बचा है बस गेमिक्स का एक लास्ट बंदा। जो कि शायद 1v4 कर सकता है, बट वो अपने टीममेट को बचाने पे ध्यान देगा, तो इसकी वजह से वो भी अब मरने वाला है। और यहाँ पे अब उसको एलिमिनेट कर दिया गया है, और यहाँ पे टीम GMX भी यहाँ पे एलिमिनेट हो चुकी है ये वाले मैच से।
And they couldn't keep up the gas towards the end of the day. They've gone away from it. I think they looked visibly upset with themselves.
मेरे को लग ही रहा था टीम NS जो है ये रिजल्ट पूरा टीम खत्म करके दिखाएगी, क्योंकि इनकी जो स्ट्रेटजी है, इनका टीम वर्क देखो पहले। मतलब एक बंदा ओपन में जा रहा है, पीछे से मतलब कवर मिल रहा है बंदे को, तो इनके लिए मतलब कोई गलती की गुंजाइश नहीं बनती कि मतलब एक आधा बंदा भी ये अपना खो दे।
There was a big solve in that last day for them. Yeah, right. There was a big solve on their gameplay, how they want to work these things out, and I like that. I did like that from them. Figured out their gameplay. They're going to bring that into survival stage. So it wasn't like they didn't gain anything.
यहाँ टीम आर्यन ने बहुत ही बढ़िया स्प्रे दिया, बट एक बंदा नहीं उतार पाए जो कि टीम VSN का था। और यहाँ अब टीम NS और टीम आर्यन के बीच में फाइट हमको देखने को मिलने वाली है, जो कि टीम आर्यन के लिए बहुत ही मुश्किल भरी होने वाली है, क्योंकि जो टीम NS है वो अभी ही जस्ट एक टीम को वाइप करके आ रही है, और दूसरी शायद टीम आर्यन की होने वाली है। बट नहीं, यहाँ पे टीम हाइड्रा ने NS का एक बंदा थर्ड पार्टी करके कार से पहले उतार दिया, और यहाँ पे टीम VSN जो कि सैंडविच हो चुकी थी, अब वो नहीं रही। मतलब ये मैच से एलिमिनेट हो चुके हैं, और आगे बचे बस हमारे टीम आर्यन भाई के, बस आर्यन भाई ही बचे हैं टीम आर्यन के, जो कि बिल्कुल अलग घूम रहे हैं, और उनके टीममेट्स जो है पहाड़ी पे हैं, शायद उनको बैकअप देने के लिए। बट ये जो पोजीशंस हैं वो बहुत ही गलत है, क्योंकि जो पहाड़ के बिल्कुल ऊपर जो बंदा चढ़ा है रोजो के, वहाँ पे से बहुत कम ही एंगल मिलता है। शायद वहाँ से वो नेट वगैरह ही करने की कोशिश करेंगे। आर्यन भाई ने प्रेडिक्शन करके मतलब बगी की तरफ एक नेट फेंका, आर्यन भाई को मतलब टीजी ने मस्त सा एक नेट मारा, बट आर्यन भाई बच गए। यहाँ पे एक नेड और दोनों बंदे नॉक हो जाएंगे, जिस हिसाब से ये इतने पास में घूम रहे हैं, और एक और नेड बच गया आर्यन भाई के, नहीं मतलब बच गए क्योंकि ये नेड बहुत ही परफेक्ट आया था उनके हाथ में पहले से। टीम मैनेज के लिए मुश्किलें बढ़ गई है, क्योंकि अपने टीम आर्यन भाई के पास जो एडवांटेज है वो हाइड एडवांटेज है, और हेड ही हेड कनेक्ट होती है, तुमको ही पता है सब कुछ। यहाँ प्रेडिक्शन करके, और टीम NS का एक बंदा हेनरी ने मार दिया है, पूरा फिनिश कर दिया, और अब बचा है 2v4। टीम आर्यन एक्सपेक्ट तो नहीं किया था, बट बहुत ही बढ़िया खेल रही है, बट यहाँ पे सीधा आके आर्यन भाई के मुंह पे नेट फटा। अब 2v2 का एक प्योर मैच जो कि यहाँ पे नहीं हुआ। अब बस डायरेक्ट बचे हैं जो कि अपनी टीम को 1v2 करके आगे ले जा सकते हैं ये मैच में और ये टूर्नामेंट में भी। पर बैक से फैल्कन का थर्ड पार्टी जो कि टीम आर्यन भाई को एलिमिनेट करता हुआ, और यहाँ पे एक और टीम के एन वो भी एलिमिनेट हो चुकी है। और यहाँ पे टीम NS के लिए अभी भी मुश्किलें रुकी नहीं है। टीम NS पे अभी भी लगातार नेड मॉली सब कुछ जा रहा है, और टीम फैल्कन की एक यही गलती जो कि इन्होंने कार लेके इन पे रश करने की कोशिश की है। अब टीम फैल्कन का या तो ये बंदा मरेगा या तो टीम NS मरने वाली है। टीम NS का एक लास्ट बंदा और टीम फैल्कन की तरफ से एलिमिनेट किया जाता है टीम NS को, जो कि बहुत बढ़िया खेल रही थी पिछले 2 मैचेस से, बट अब यहाँ पे उनका एलिमिनेशन हमको देखने को मिल गया।
This is great though for the Falcons, because now they have control over towards the south side of Rozhov. They also have Redux still holding that building on the northwest side. He holds his own. It's the first time we've seen a solo Falcon being able to do that. And that's really cool because now they have a lot of presence on the map here.
यहाँ टीम हाइड्रा अपना मतलब एक कंपाउंड जो कि ये छोड़ने को तैयार नहीं है इस मैच में हाईएस्ट किल फैल्कन के हैं बट जो सेकंड नंबर पे टीम आती है जिनकी सबसे हाईएस्ट किल है वो हाइड्रा की टीम है यहाँ पे जो होवरक्राफ्ट है भाई ये सबसे गंदा चीज लगती है मेरे को ये फूटती नहीं है भाई जल्दी बट इसका एक डैमेज पड़ता है जो कि इस पे अगर हेडलाइट पे मारो तो बंदे का हेड ही हेड पड़ता है
They've heard the fighting on the south side as well. They're just priming them. That's a terrifying sight, by the way. 4 dudes.
टीम फैल्कन भी बहुत बढ़िया खेले अभी इनके पास भी चारों के चारों बंदे हैं बस यहाँ पे सबसे ज़्यादा कम एडवांटेज है वो टीम एफएफ पे है क्योंकि टीम एफएफ के बस 2 बंदे अलाइव हैं उनके पास जो 2 बंदों के पावर थी वो जा चुकी है और जो टीम ईए है उनके पास भी एक बंदे की पावर जा चुकी है यहाँ टीम एफएफ के लिए यही रहेगा कि यही बढ़िया रहेगा कि मतलब वो कंपाउंड से भी बाहर ना निकले थोड़ा सा मतलब होल्ड कर लें जब जो या तो एक टीम बच जाएगी तब फाइट करें तब जो टीम एफएफ है वो बहुत आराम से जीत सकती है पर जो टीम A7 है वो रुकने को तैयार नहीं वो बिल्कुल फैल्कन के ऊपर नेटबाजी करके उनको एक टीममेट खा लिया गया है
dissipated yet, so they can afford to stop short. There is a shot that goes through there as the arena sees that Alpha 7 is distracted.
Team Alpha सबसे गंदा खेल रही है.
Here's the problem though, it's not just nades from Alpha 7, now they're coming in from Aura as well, down on the roadside. Now Valo is eating a ton of damage. Ralph's forced to push further up to actually get himself into cover to play with. So both barrels being given here.
7 losing Revo. Squash just gets back up again. Tony K drops a nade, but it's long. They're in the kitchen and needs to cook this nade to perfection. Ralph finding Revo, steals that one away, but it's Toshpik to take him out. It's all
यहाँ पे जो शायद जो टीम A7 है वो टीम EA के बीच में घुसती हुई 2 बंदों को लगातार खा चुकी है जो E7 है मतलब A7 सॉरी वो एक लास्ट बंदा जो कि मार सकते हैं वो शायद यहाँ पे नहीं है जो टीम EA का लास्ट बंदा है मेरे को ये बात नहीं समझ लगती गाइस मतलब जो बंदे हैं टीम के इतना ज़्यादा अलग क्यों जाते हैं मतलब जब फाइट होती है तो साथ में हो जाना चाहिए जैसे अंदर बंदा घुस रहा है तो उसको कवर तो दो कम से कम यही तो नहीं समझ लगती बट भाई वो स्पोर्ट्स प्लेयर है उनको ज़्यादा पता हमसे हम क्या बोलें इन्होंने इतना बढ़िया ये कैसे लेट क्या था यह नेट पे झूठा किया गया पर उनका नेट हाथ में रह गया उनका कैंसिल नहीं हो पाया नेट और यहाँ पे टीम ये जो है वो यहीं पे एलिमिनेट हो गई फिर जो थर्ड पार्टी करने की कोशिश थी टीम फैल्कन की तरफ से वो नहीं कर पाए बट यहाँ पे दूसरी S12 के दे दी गई ये खिड़कियों के बीच में से फैल्कन भाई क्या बताएं अब यहाँ पे बची हैं पूरी 4 टीमें और जो टीम EA है वो बहुत ट्रबल में फंस चुकी है क्योंकि टीम एफएफ खत्म और यहाँ टीम एफएफ जो है जोन से मर के ही खत्म हो गई
opportunities where they're presented. Regnan Karia being able to play this one picture perfect with the opportunities that have been presented by other teams. Everyone's overlooked them. Sideline from No Fear, living up to his name.
टीम A7 भी गई यहाँ पे लग ही रहा था और ये टीम
And that's the way it goes.
जीता कौन बात
incredibly well.
टीम हाइड्रा जीत गई क्या?
To the eastern side, to push out slightly further over towards Gamax, spotting all the commotion over towards Noxian.
हाँ, टीम हाइड्रा जीत गई क्योंकि इनके पास एडवांटेज था सब बंदों का। बहुत बढ़िया नाइस गेम। चलो अब मैं आपको मिलता हूँ थोड़े ब्रेक के बाद चाय वगैरह पीनी होती है कि नहीं? हाँ।
Heads up calls. Reading it so well as well. Opportunities when everyone's attention was taken away from them. Like you said, subverting expectations. It was a brutal beginning for them. But they put it together. They pieced away some points at the very least.
For Alpha 7, what a tough task they had there versus E-Arena, Falcons on one side. Not an easy maneuver to make happen. Carrillo does survive it all. Could have been pretty sick if Narvalo hit that shot, but looks a lot better from the Falcons.
It certainly does. They're building. The wings have been spread, but the action is intense. So join us for more after the break.
Pulsar Legionnaire available now. First outfit with special head animations and voice lines. The Pulsar Legionnaire set comes with its own super cute voice lines that can be toggled on or off.
What happened? Bye, friend. Hello, Earth. I'm here.
It also features the upgradable Hyperion ship DSR and Jet Reaver glider with special animations. Experience parachuting like never before. That's not all. Even more rewards await. Event period, July 25th, 2025 through August 26th, 2025. What are you waiting for? Get the new Guild set now.
Well, no swimming required for Horror here. They have the perfect compound to transition into Rozhok, getting themselves that win here as we have got them win game number 3 on the board. Brilliant stuff by them. Joining me, Neptura, as well as Seven, to talk about this victory from them. Neptura, this was all them sweeping through Rozhok, looking fantastic.
As usual, as I would expect from a team of this caliber. Horror, I have always talked about Horror. I like them a lot. I like how they play. They played it basically how I would normally expect them to. They had a really good compound, as we were talking about. We saw them sweep that edge and just wait until the perfect time to strike. Once that strike was there, they went for it.
And what I really enjoyed even before that, it was a 2-2 split that they were holding towards the east of the circle. They had an opportunity to actually third-party a fight. I think it was Noncham Ramforce versus Gamex. They decided not to do that and just prioritize their game style. It worked out wonders for them, 19 points. And if we keep going down the list, I mean, it's good to see some of these names here at the top, Kyle. You got Alpha 7 with 13 points and Team Falcon as well there with 12.
They did something. No, I mean, of course, it's very
They did, though. It's talking about teams that did something. Is that AXTMG? 5 points, they got points.
Yes!
Woo!
The first two games, they got nothing. So we were hoping for a little bit of a step up from them, of course, here. And this is definitely a bit of a step up here, Neptura.
It is. I actually really liked how they played the south side as well, right? They had a really nice split. They kept things going, but they didn't get too far out of bounds, right? They kept it together and held it, and they did a really good job here.
And even before they ended up going towards the south there of Rosshog on the mountain, between the school area, I really enjoy what the third party that they ended up doing between Regnum, Karya, and Kino. That was perfect, and it showed that this team is now starting to be proactive. They're not just waiting and being too patient, which is ultimately what you want to see out of a team that's now experiencing a global event once again.
All right, are we going to talk about Falcons again? Because,
yes.
There's some really cool things actually happening, Seven, of course. The rotations were amazing initially, I want to say. What do you think?
I mean, this right here.
Allow them to have this pincer move going on. But I think maybe the way the zone was working or something, they actually, those 3 players on the south rotated down towards A7. They should have maybe gone onto the other side so they could do a pincer move with Redux on the north. It just didn't work out that way, so it was a 1v1, 1-by-1.
Well, let's head down to Barney now as he is ready with Falcons to see what they think after some of these games.
Welcome back to the main stage. I've got Koa from Team Falcons joining me here, and I tell you what, the consistency seems like it's back, Koa, because you've had 3 matches so far. All 3 have been in the top 5, 2 second places as well. What changed from the group stage to now on the survival stage? Because you guys, it feels like you're back.
Yeah, so we had the meetings, we talked about our mistakes, and we fixed them.
Simple. Okay, that's simple and effective. You know what, Koa? I want to talk about you individually as a player, because your impact since joining this team has been incredible. You've been MVP in the PMSL season, and now you've come here and you're clutching up in highly intense moments, I would say. How do you feel like you've gelled with the team, and why do you feel like it works so well?
I think it works because the team have some structure, and then my job is only to take the kills.
Your job is to go out there and farm the kills. And what's happening now? So coming into the next 3 matches, are you guys just going to keep the strategies the same? Because it seems like it's working.
Yep, we're going to keep all the same.
Koa, I like interviewing you, man. You're simple, you're to the point. I love it. Back to you guys.
Well, Barney's right. A very important place for Falcons, of course, to do well here, live from Riyadh, Saudi Arabia for PUBG Mobile World Cup. We can take a look at a moment or two here from Falcons as well, because they've really been a focal point here so far, Seven. Kind of understandably in some moments.
I mean, let's even rewind it a little bit more. You got Alpha 7 being able to take control of this area, and I feel like for them, that was able to clutch about so many points. And then you got Yangon trying to send it, but Alpha 7 was ready. Just cars flying everywhere.
Yeah, and of course the teams have to try and come in behind that and try and deal with what on earth is going on over there. But let's talk about some of these other teams, of course, here, Neptura, because Nongshim Red Force, of course, as well in this game, they found themselves in a bit of the nitty-gritty and trying to get them. They've got themselves some points on for sure on the board. As we'll take a look at the overalls. But what do you think about Nongshim?
They're almost there. They're almost where I want them to be, because you saw them come in against, who was it? G-Max?
Gamex?
No, Gamex and R8. They came in, had a really nice third party, really nice push onto Gamex, really good. Then they kind of split apart when they were trying to fight against AX Team AG. So for me, they're almost there, but we look over the overall rankings, and actually it's very close still, even though we've had different teams doing different things at different times.
It is, and I mean, look at the 8th place Ringnam Karya. With this matches too, I mean, we're going to have some gaps here and there, but those teams can definitely close it up with just one match. I'm pretty sure we'll end up going there towards the second page. Something that I actually wanted to touch base with Nongshim is I enjoyed that 3-1 split that they were doing earlier on. They did have a player kind of just holding it down with an arm, just making sure that they were scouting everything, which allowed that third party that you were talking about, Neb. I wish they would have actually went north. They wouldn't have needed to challenge Hora Esports. I did not appreciate the south rotation when they ended up crashing on AXTMG. I felt like that was maybe a losing play. If they would have just gone north, played that edge on the river, that might have been a winning play for that team to clutch up even more points.
We had our concerns about R8, I think, as well, Neptura.
Yeah, we did. I really liked how they played the north side, full control of the north side. If the zone had gone their way, they probably would have won, but they didn't, and they actually, instead of playing that same position that you were just talking about, Seven, they went ahead and crashed the compound, which seemed like just to stop any momentum they had built over the course of the game.
It was a concern. I mean, hitting that compound when it's not even going to be a focal point of the circle as well, Seven, seems a little bit dubious, a little bit odd, a little bit.
It just comes down to experience from some of these teams. I feel like that's what you narrow it down. The winning play for that team would have been going towards the Western Bridge and just holding that down there. But I think maybe the proactiveness of Team Falcons might have scared them off a little bit more. But for them, I mean, if that's what you're gonna go with, it didn't end up working out for them. Maybe they'll be able to fix it up going to the next games.
That said, always difficult in an urban ending like that, of course. The road obviously causes a big problem. You're seeing how reluctant teams are to try and move from building to building. And that was what was really impressive about Horror, their actual sweep from building to building in this game here, Neptura.
Yeah, it was. Again, you not only have the road in the middle, you actually have that road in between their compound and the rest of Rosov as well. So that's very open. I think Regnum Karya had those buildings on the other side. So it was something where they had to cross over, and you can only do that by a full sweep the way Horror did. If you stop at any point, it's game over.
All right, well, thank you very much, guys. Time to head over to the stage once again as the lovely Veracity and Mr. Barney Banks are ready to go as well.
Welcome back to the Gadia Esports Arena, where we are halfway through day one of the survival stage, and tensions are high. And of course, so is the passion. But I'm here to bring you all of the highlights that we've had so far in day one. And of course, day one, we kick things off on Sandhawk. Sandhawk was extremely strong map because two teams that came into a final showdown were Team Falcons and Fireflux Esports. Fireflux took that victory, and of course, some points along with it, 17 in total. But E-Arena managed to secure 9 eliminations, so an honourable mention goes to them. Are you still up there?
Barney, if these players can make it through survival stage, I can too. I've had the best view in the house right now, Barney, and let me tell you right now, match 2 was proof of the fact that the Falcons were able to spend their day off in the most fabulous fashion ever, Barney. Yeah, don't worry about that. I've been snacking away. The Falcons, they've been sharpening their talons, Barney, to say the very least. They soared their way to the very top of our standings. And not only that, they managed to walk away with eliminations left, right, and center. But unfortunately, Fireflux Esports began clipping away at their wings. Our final fight, though, it saw Power Esports taking down the lone survivor representing the Falcons, and that was Koa, marking the 3rd chicken dinner right here at this event for Power Esports.
Going into map number 3, Nongshim Red Force kicked things off extremely strong with 10 eliminations by stage 7 of that particular map. But in the end, it was Horror Esports that managed to clinch that victory and claim that chicken dinner for their own as well. So that's nice. A good amount of points for Horror Esports Veracity.
You know what, Barney? Enough chit-chat from us. I want to go ahead and dive into match number 4, baby. Let's do this.
Great to see Veracity finally getting down from the high ground. She was up there for a while. Saw the banana peel, a whole bunch of candy. She was vegging out, but what else are you going to do when you're stuck on an island? Speaking of which, we're going into Erangel for map number 4, PMWC. It's been exciting today, truly, and the reason why is teams that didn't necessarily perform well during the group stage are really showing up in the survival stage. We've already witnessed Fireflux, right, get a victory, which was their first winner chicken dinner of the tournament. That includes their group stage performance. Now for Power, well, they sit at a total of 3, granted 1 for today, and then Ora showing up and getting a win in game number 3 and doing it in sensational fashion, which puts the pressure, John, on so many other wonderful teams. Falcons, Alpha 7, right? Those teams looking to make it up to the top.
Absolutely. There is this really interesting dynamic that unfolds, right, when you take the best 8 teams out, well, best, you know, for now,
that's right,
teams out of the lobby. It creates this vacuum, and that pulls in these teams from beneath them. It pushes them towards the top and creates a lot of turbulence. When you start to add those factors all together, it can get a little bit spicy, and that's what we've witnessed so far at the start of today. At the moment, we're looking at half the lobby going through to the finals at the end of these 2 days of the survival stage, and because of that, we're expecting the points boundary to be somewhere around that 70-point mark, and teams are starting to have achieved half of that already, and a lot of the teams towards the top actually already pushing over 30.
That's it. Over 30 is big, especially when you start to go down towards the bottom. We take a look at top 8 currently. 8th place, Regnum Karya, sitting with 16 points around there anyways. They're going to have to definitely step it up. They're on the bubble, at least at the moment. It's still early goings. 3 more games today, 6 more more tomorrow to determine our top 8 and, of course, our bottom 8. But if you're Kinotrope, intense game, influence, rage, and, well, really the list goes on, you've got to be a little bit worried, but you can't be too much in your head. Again, there's still time, but time will eventually run out. Heading into Game 4, our last Erangel of the day. Before we hop into Miramar, it's going to be exciting. We've seen some great city finishes already as it stands. Now I'm hoping we get a little bit of the military zones.
That Key Crusher is hungry, and we have only one way to feed it. It's crunching through these survival stages, and we will be heading in to Erangel once more. All 64 of our players locked and hopefully loaded into the plane from Lipovka over towards the southwest side, over towards Quarry. Plane path fairly chilled out right now. Lovely little dog decal there on the back wing of the plane. He's having a great time. Not so much for our players on the inside, though.
Flying high, flying high. Okay, so plane path looks pretty good, pretty standard. Everybody who wants to go wherever they want to go pretty much has free reign to do so. Georgia Poe obviously going to see quite a bit of activity up there with Alpha 7 and Co. America's region's loving that location. For the rest, though, military, I'm feeling it in my bones. John, I think this next zone is about to be spicy. I'm hoping I'm right, but I hope I just cast or cursed it.
It's a bones-based feeling here.
I'm feeling it.
And we're going purely off the vibe.
That's it.
That's exactly what we're here for. That's the only way to go.
You said the word.
Purely, yeah, and well, you know, had to fill out that bingo card. Heading on out to the northwest side, I reckon. You know, Zarky circles. That's my bones-based vibes play.
Okay, I wouldn't mind Zarky. I wouldn't mind Zarky. I think Zarky's great. Again, a couple of teams that notably love to go out there. Actually, speaking of which, let's talk about it. Alpha 7 typically goes towards Zarky. Georgia Pool, Lipovka is where they decide to go this time around. Well, we don't get either, but we do get right in the middle of what we were predicting. I'm still happy with this, and it's going to benefit quite a few other rosters. For example, E-Arena Kinotrope going to be feeling quite happy. Power has had a standout day currently, sitting in third place, 31 points. And well, let's not forget also getting that Game 2 winner chicken dinner on Erangel, now set up quite nicely to potentially do just the same in Game number 4. They'll be central at the moment. It's spread out, but plenty of time to get together. For Aegon Galactica, they are going down towards military to start looting up and also, of course, get their vehicles. Now, for them, though, maybe a potential to go over to the Western Bridge, maybe a scuffle with Kinotrope, maybe R8, but still early goings, and I'm not seeing any hot drops at the moment.
No, there aren't going to be too many right now. The plane path cutting straight through the middle allows a lot of access to places. I mean, obviously, that Alpha 7 relocation to Lipovka, going to that backup drop, it really just opens things up. If they'd have stuck to their guns and tried to go to North George, there would have been a hot drop on some of those vehicles out the west side. So a reasonable adjustment there. Aura and Influence Rage, probably the closest by to one another right now, up towards Yasnaya. But it looks like they're just sort of keeping each other at arm's distance. They don't want to get too aggy with it, and I think rightly so. Certainly when you have a numbers advantage, don't want to push too hard, and Influence Rage as well. Just looking to keep things calm, especially down in that 12th place. They want to get out of this early drop into those later game rotations.
Falcons also pretty much dead center. They have nobody around them, at least at the moment. They've had a stellar day. We talked about it throughout the group stage. Falcons, bit of an underperformance, right? Needing to step it up in the survival stage where their tournament lives are at risk. It would be weird, I must say, not to see Team Falcons representing in the final stages of that Smash Point competition, but they're doing very, very well. We mentioned 70 being the cutoff. They've already surpassed the halfway point. They still have a little bit more work, but let's face it, Falcons, if they can perform well in these back end of 3 games or 6 today, they can absolutely qualify based off of day 1.
The thing that's very encouraging about the Falcons' performance right now that maybe isn't attributed to the other teams that sit around them is that they've done this through consistency, right? They haven't won a game yet. They have just been consistently getting into the top 5, right? And that is a great result for the Falcons to be able to have that spot available to. The downside of what I've seen from them today is that there have been good rotations, good decisions being made. Mechanical execution of them has been subpar. Specifically, I think it's safe to say Ralph has had a couple of missteps, and I think Narvalo as well, obviously going down a lot earlier in the games than they would have liked to. You can attribute that to getting a little bit too bold on the scouting, maybe less of a mechanical issue, but I do think there are still a few wobbles here and there, and hopefully they can get themselves nice and steady, because it's working right now. The question is, will it work if they go to the finals, when you bring back those top 8 teams?
Yeah, and that's a question, right? And that's a question they're going to have to ask themselves when they do head into the finals. Obviously, the task at hand now is just top 8. And, well, speaking of one of those teams who's close to the bubble is Alpha 7 on your screen, a team that obviously is coming in with squash this time around, but regardless, the returning champions, the heroes of the Americas region, play so incredibly well. I would be, again, just like the Falcons narrative, it would be so weird not to see Alpha 7 representing themselves during the Smash Point group or finals just coming up next week. But for Alpha 7, they're still relatively healthy. I do feel like they have gotten punished at multiple moments, but for now, I'm not too worried about them. I think they're going to be just fine. Now, for other teams from the Americas region, Influence, Rage, Intense Game, I do start to get a bit worried. I don't think they are performing well. And you go back to Influence, Rage during the group play, specifically their performance during day 1 group play for them. I felt they were coming in hot. I thought they looked great, but survival stage, nothing like their group play performance.
No, I mean, it does really change the dynamic, as I mentioned before, right? When you are taking out those top 8 teams in every single match, no matter which groups we're in, you're expecting there to be about 5, maybe 6 of those teams in the top 8 to be playing in the lobby, and removing those teams has really changed the dynamics here. And teams have taken advantage of that. And like you were highlighting there, some teams have had to eat mud on the flip side, right? Because you have to for a team to do better, another team has to do worse, right? Swings and roundabouts.
That's it. Yeah, that's it. Well, I will say Team Vision also another roster that surprised me being so far down. You go back to group play and they were performing incredibly well, having plenty of highlight moments. Were they in the top echelon? No, but Vision still a team that is struggling. Regnum Karya now in a fight against AXTMG, and Silas, a guy who, again, is trying to create history for himself. He's already has a large history of performances and great moments throughout PUBG Mobile history. This tournament would complete the trifecta he's currently trying to get, so that's a big opening elimination for him. And for AXTMG, the struggles live on.
I think Regnum Karya are looking weak this tournament in a way that couldn't be said, I think, for Alpha 7 or Falcons.
Sure.
They haven't really been in these positions to really take too much. They earned a couple of points on a few of the days, but obviously they're here in the survival stages, and I'm hoping that they can stand up. Like you said, with Silas having that PMGO victory, having that PMGC victory under the belt, adding that third, would be the first player in history to do so. But at the moment, they need to piece it back together, especially coming off of a weak season back in Europe, right? These guys only qualified because they had that extra qualification spot from winning PMGO at the start of the year. So the fact that they're only here because of that earlier performance, it does add questions to this roster. And right now they're on 8th place. So they would, if things close down now, be going through. And I think I would be disappointed not to see them go through, but they do still have a long way to go. And when they're put back in the fold with the 8 teams already qualified, the same thing's true of as what I said for the Falcons, right? There are those questions that just don't have an answer right now.
Alpha 7 in ruins, currently only team over in this location. Influence Rage skirting just to the north side for them, but getting quite contested towards the middle as we would expect. Regnum Karya being one of them. Dead center. Power as well. Haven't really done too much, but you wouldn't expect them to. They're centered. They're happy where they're currently at. For Kinotrope, well, they've got people all around them, but again, same situation. Nobody really to fight at the moment. Potentially Nogsham Red Force a little bit later, who, mind you, I've been very, very impressed with. Had a chance to speak with Benny yesterday. Super impressed with his mindset. He wants to be the best, and well, this tournament is one of the ways to prove it. Well, here we go, going south now. It does shift just a bit, which could benefit Yangon Galacticos, who could potentially stay over on the military side if they don't want to fully commit for the bridge rotate, but it also puts them at risk of getting gate kept by R8 Nogsham Red Force. That's one of the things they're going to have to consider.
A lot of teams now looking to make their move. A hard south shift forces teams to rotate at the same time. I'm seeing Fireflux moving into the hills to the south of Pachinki there. Nongshan Red Force actually regrouping to the compound that sits over that long hillside that borders the south edge of this circle where R8 currently take up occupation. Fireflux actually rotating away. Looks like they're going to try and push into the east side of that. And all of these teams from the north going to try and move on top of each other. It is intense game. It is Alpha 7 moving in this area. You've got Power as well, who are a little bit ahead of the curve. And Influence Rage, actually the three-peat of the Americas teams. And when you only have one good team in the region, well, you know who you want to see get out of it.
Yeah, this is going to be weird because, like you said, you got all three Americas region teams, ironically, just right next to each other. You would, I guess, expect that with similar play styles, kind of similar mindsets, obviously from the same region, but it seems like they kind of do this invisible handshake. You go on your way, I'll go on my way, they'll go on their way, and we'll avoid each other for the time being. But as deeper as Influence Rage starts to go, closer and closer, they start to get the power.
Fireflux did actually turn around. They're now still in those hills, but it's Gamax, it's Yangon Galacticos who have now crossed the bridge as well on the south side of the circle, who are poking their noses in. You've also got E-Arena, who have sent a scout down south towards Nongshan Red Force, towards R8, but now Alpha 7 have actually cut off that retreat. On the north side, Aura, Influence Rage now clashing, trying to take position, and first blood for Lorazit.
Influence Rage, great shot. Sleepy from a distance, though, takes Little Boy all the way down to just a sliver of health. He's most likely going to be finished off relatively soon. I don't foresee him getting picked back up. Of course, the med kit pops, but still, Influence Rage got to fight hard. They've, again, struggled so much throughout the survival stage so far across the first 3 maps. They need to hold their ground. Not to mention, Power also starting to come in for a bit of a third party, and No Fear is gone.
A nice little flex out there from Al-Haji, puts the stone in, gets the result he's looking for, adds a point to the tally. Pleased to see you. Plower now actually going to put more pressure on. They're moving down, and Influence Rage playing with 4. They're locked into the building. They're surrounded by E-Arena and by Power now, who have pushed Easy actually very, very close to this situation. That was a bit too bold, and I think they've read into that. They will pull him back, fold him back into the rest of the team.
E-Arena being on the outskirts scares me, however, for Influence Rage. Such a talented roster. They have really proven themselves throughout not only their second day of group play, but also throughout the survival stages already. Having some high placings. Zone will shift once again. Alpha 7 very, very safe where they currently are. Influence Rage, same story. E-Arena, Power around them. Intense game, though, might alleviate some of that pressure. They start the push in. Power encompassing their location. We get on board with the fight going down. IG versus Power. It will be, I believe, will it be a 3v4, if I'm not mistaken?
Yeah, currently that's how it sits. Power were a little bit split, but it looks like they're regrouping. They do have that off angle just across the way. Nade in over towards Easy from Silence, and he's quietening him down pretty nicely there. Al-Haji holding the flank still against Influence Rage, but maybe he needs to worry about the inside, but handles business from Fidan. On the outskirts there, looking to try and keep his team in this fight. And Silas has the challenge down the alleyway, but both of them back off the angle.
Here we go, Power pushing up. Petrino cooking a nade. Al-Haji wants to take him out before it can get thrown, but now he has to reposition himself. IG running on fumes, and Al-Haji looking to put him into the grave earlier than they wanted, and that's exactly what will happen. IG struggles will continue.
Power have been stepping up today. A little bit lackluster, well, more than a little bit lackluster in the group stages earlier on in last week's games, but today it looks like Power are here to play. They added on some cheeky chicken dinners. They've been able to now get in and amongst it. It is a return to form for them. Hopefully they can keep this going.
Oh, just about to point out Ralph. He was separated from his roster. Falcons have been leaving players, stragglers, to be the scouts for the rest of the trio, whoever's out. First it was Redux and Alaskan, we were talking about him, and now this time it's Ralph, who's, well, potentially in no man's land. I say that, but here comes the rest of the roster trying to pick him back up. Getting Ralph back into the fight, being a 4-man unit, is definitely going to be the way they want to go. It's a question now of vision and how hard they want to push this engagement.
The forward duo for Falcons have a position in this next circle. Koa and Novallo looking to try and stanchion them down. Try and keep things under control here. Koa puts pressure. The res was sent over towards Ralph. He's up there in a vehicle now, and they could rotate away. Vision actually not opting to crash onto that position. Instead, trying to get ahead of the rotation and split Falcons off from their forward duo.
Now it's a question of power, and do they want to continue to push the issue? And I guess not at the moment. Vision unintentional, though. Even though they do go up top, they still manage to pass by Falcons, and they are in hot pursuit, shooting some shots at Ralph. The early knock that they got a little bit earlier, now trying to get the finish. Influence Rage also in the area, and they're going full send. AXTMG also.
Hello guys, your caster is back. और यहाँ पे क्या मैं देख रहा हूँ, यहाँ पे एक टीम एलिमिनेट हो चुकी है.
And as they are pretty much dead center of the zone, everybody's going to be collapsing in, and now Jiggle from Aura. Regis, you got Silas also up there. Vision is pushing in, trying to take everybody on, and he's going to fall a bit flat.
Vision do a mad rotate through everybody in the circle into the middle of an open field. It was a death ball that they just sent in, hoping to all hell that they'd make it, and they just really didn't. It was honestly a pretty terrible position there to take. 100%. I think that is probably coming off from the Falcons what was potentially one of the most exciting, fresh, new, dynamic rotations in the tournament so far into what I think I would categorize as the worst rotation I've seen this tournament.
Fully agree, and especially because you get a fresh knock on the Falcons and you don't even fully commit for the finish. You have the advantage at that moment, and then you decide to pull away, allow Falcons to get the res, and then full send it in the middle of 5 teams. That just doesn't make sense, and well, clearly they are struggling today as they just sit at the very bottom with only 2 points. Hopefully they'll start to get it together. A lot of teams on the north, stragglers, trying to come on in. Kinatrope, Power, you also have Influence Rage as well. It's going to be pretty tight up towards the northern side of the zone. The first team to get in might be able to play Gatekeeper, but for the time being, everybody's got a lot of space to work with, but that's the thing. There's just a lot of space out in the open, vast area, which is the zone.
Yeah, that hillside to the south edge, that tree-covered hill ridge that currently R8 sits on, that Fireflux is sitting on as well, it can contain maybe one more team, but it's going to start to get squashed. Alpha 7 going to be looking to do just that. Meanwhile, on the northwest side, Influence Rage, they're trying to move, but so are Power. And Power are on form today. With 5 elims already, they found Lorazin. AXTMG going to look for that flush as well. And the third parties coming through from Falcons who have managed to all get to the same shack.
Number 1 पे तो बैठ चुकी है.
Shack, so they're going to be all together. They can focus fire, but they are being gate kept just a little bit by Noxian Red Force, way off in the distance at the compound. So Power need to, or should be Falcons need to be a little bit careful. For Power's perspective, though, the reason why they were so successful in that little scuffle they had with Influence Rage has spread themselves apart with the 2-2 split. Power are moving together as one unit. They are wall-packing, making it very difficult for any stragglers or any split-ups, like, for example, Influence Rage, maybe even Kinatrope for a moment, to fight against this 4-man unit of Power. And I think I owe their success to, again, them being on the same page, sticking together. It's hard to take on a full force unit, but teams now start to settle down a little bit. Kinatrope is going to go ahead and take over the west, or should be eastern side zone. Power will start to move in. AXTMG still running on fumes, but Henry may be looking to make a solo play against Power once they rotate in. We'll see what he can do.
Has got a forward position to assist with him in Cyrax, but they are very, very split, and in the open fields, it is going to be a difficult crossing. Power moving past Fidan, actually moving close towards that forward position, maybe actually over into Influence Rage. Fidan circling here. Easy's going to roll straight on up. Al-Haji sending in a barrel, sent down the lane towards Influence Rage, and Easy goes in first, does manage to get traded off, but they lose one of their players. Now, can they handle Lil Boy on the inside? Al-Haji take it down, and Influence Rage maybe trying to stop Power dead in their tracks. Fidan on the outside here with the AUG, hasn't managed to find it, and Lil Boy goes for the res.
Power. इन्होंने मतलब इतना बढ़िया और यहाँ पे इन्होंने पावर को 1v4 कर दिया. मतलब एक INF का बंदा जो कि पूरी पावर टीम को अकेले ही खा गया. भाई क्या स्टाइल के चला रहा है भाई, मतलब भाई अगर इसके पीछे बैकअप नहीं होता ना ये सही में खत्म था भाई. ये क्या खेल रहा है बंदा.
Vehicles to play with, but this is not going to be enough of a position.
A massive
flex back out from the Falcons. They are jetting spicy with it. Alpha 7 in the meantime are
एंड में आके इन्होंने 1v4 कर दिया जो कि मैंने एक्सपेक्ट नहीं किया था जिस हिसाब से इन पे रश हुआ था बट यहाँ पे ये चारों के 4 किल अकेले निकाल चुके हैं इन्होंने एक नॉक किया था बट साइड वाले ने कवर में मार दिया बहुत बढ़िया खेल रही है टीम
He chose to stay back just a little bit and well he's going to have to go at it alone as a solo for anything right going for placement points maybe potentially trying to get the remaining cleanups. I mean after all Arena does have two down players.
बहुत अग्रेसिव खेल रही है
Falcons got really keen to push up towards that north side but
और
at least they've got 3 players in position to potentially pick up these points towards the arena. You can see these nades starting to ring on out and it's actually from
वाह भाई क्या थर्ड पर इतनी दूर से मतलब गोली मार के भाई टीम में 7 एलिमिनेट कर दिया है क्या था ये
The Falcons were all held down towards that number 3 on the minimap there on Narvalo.
भाई मैं ख्याल से टीम के इनका काम था
they have those off angles. They now need to rotate back on in. You can see the vehicles they got available to them though and they should be able to make this crossing.
जो है इतना अग्रेसिव खेलना चालू कर दिया कि ये टीम एनएस को भी नीचे कर चुकी है
Noxious Red Force still dead center by the way. They're going to play a big impact as we get later and later into the stages.
यहाँ पे ये ऐसी जगह है कि मतलब यहाँ पे ऐसे बंदे आते हैं जिनसे हमको बहुत कुछ सीखने को मिल सकता है तो थोड़ा ध्यान से अगर आप मैच को देखोगे तो आप स्ट्रेटजी समझ जाओगे इनकी कुछ इतनी खास स्ट्रेटजीज नहीं रहती बस थोड़ा सा आप ध्यान से देखो बाकी आप खुद स्ट्रेटजी समझ जाओगे
start to hurt R8 a little bit, which could open up the door for Young Galacticos to potentially get a clean win here.
That's what they'll be looking for here. Gamax trying to push in on the southeast side in the meantime.
As
Fireflies try and hold their own. So far, looks to be in the favor of Fireflies, but Regnum Kyra chiming in across the way from the north side. Bullet now down to 3 confirmed. Gamax playing with just the one. It may not be enough to take down Fireflies, but damage has been done, and that's going to slow them down. Talking about those holds out to the west side towards Yangon
जो कि किसी और टीम से लड़ रही थी वो यहाँ पे खत्म हो चुकी है मतलब एलिमिनेट हो चुकी है और यहाँ पे टीम गैमेक्स भी एलिमिनेट होगी मेरे को लग ही रहा था मैंने बोला था कि मतलब गैमेक्स का लास्ट बंदा भी मरने वाला है और यहाँ पे अपनी आर्यन भाई की टीम के ऊपर नेट बाजी हो रही है जो कि लास्ट बंदे बचे थे साइरेक्स बट वो एलिमिनेट हो गए एक अलग ही एंगल से आते हुए नेट फैल्कन बस भाई पुश पे पुश दे रहा है
They have managed to spot that first knock, right? So they know that there is a team there sort of trying to navigate the northern side with a hard north ship. It would be a very viable team to try and take out, but Falcons overcommitting here would expose them to non-ship Red Force, who have been in this compound since the start of Phase 2.
और यहाँ टीम R8 पहुँच चुकी है जो कि शायद इनको एलिमिनेट कर सकती है क्योंकि जो टीम R8 की पावर है और जो टीम फैल्कन की पावर है Similar to नहीं मैं कह सकता but हाँ
playing gatekeeper to Fireflux, playing gatekeeper to Yangon Galacticus, who's going to have to move into them potentially. So I expect
मतलब जो टीम R8 की पावर है और जो टीम फैल्कन की पावर है वो कुछ हद तक तो सेम है बस टीम जो R8 है इनकी स्ट्रेटजी सही नहीं है ताकि ये सब किल्स निकाल पाए ज़्यादा स्ट्रेटजी भी ठीक नहीं है और क्या कहते हैं इनका लक इनके साथ ही चल
Damar's going straight into him. Just going straight on through. Trying to see if he can keep an edge, and it looks like they're going to let him play on this wall for now, but the Falcons might have something to say about that. Damar may be exposed. The rest of R8 actually going to continue that push. He knows he's getting unchallenged, so they've got that western building under control. An interesting decision for Nongshan Red Force not to hold them out. They're going to give the western side of the compound to R8.
Compound so critical to keep in play, especially if you get blessed by the next zone, which could very well happen. Now, you do have to consider another fight, obviously, right before your eyes. Fireflux as well as Yangon Galacticus. They might cannibalize each other as soon as that happens. Now they move into Noxious Red Force in the R8 fight. So it's going to be one fight to another, and now you have to prioritize which one is more important for you to take the third party or go head-to-head. For Fireflux, they can, in fact, wrap around the eastern side and maybe take over where the Kratos currently at. or they can decide to push. Right now, they're just
अब यहाँ पे
kind
या
of just
तो
seeing
आर
what's
या पार
out
की
there. But
लड़ाई
with the
होगी
hovercraft, I think Gang on Galacticus need to
यही
take
होने
advantage of
वाला
that.
है
For me, I'm wrapping around. I don't want to full send it. I don't want this third party, but maybe they do.
I mean, it's already smoking. It's really dangerous to be heading on in like that. But Yangon Galacticos full crash onto the northern point.
मैंने कहा
Noxian
था
Red Force looked to hold.
मैंने कहा था
Grinder found through the window, but Yangon Galacticos somehow avoid the spinning
और यहाँ
blades.
पे टीम एनएस के 2 बंदे खा चुके हैं टीम भाई क्या शॉटगन चला रहा है ये क्या बंदा है भाई
Romeo the only casualty. All right, looking at third
ये
party.
टीम भाई जी का ये जो बंदा है इतना बढ़िया शॉटगन चला रहा है मतलब इसने 3 बंदे अकेले खा गया टीम एनएस के जो कि इतना अग्रेसिव खेल रहे थे पिछले 2 या 3 मैच से और अब एक ऐसा लेड जो कि टीम एफएफ की इस मैच को एलिमिनेशन की तरफ लेके जाएगा बट नहीं ये नेड बस एक नॉक बंदे को फिनिश कर पाया और जो टीम एनएस है वो उनके पास बहुत बढ़िया मौका है अगर इस टाइम उन्होंने रश कर दिया तो जो एस्ट्रल के ये मार सकते हैं वो बहुत आराम से इनको फिनिश कर देंगे क्योंकि इनके पास बिल्कुल हेल्थ नहीं है टीम एफएफ के पास और टीम एफएफ का एक लास्ट बंदा वही बचा हुआ है और उसके पास भी हीलिंग्स नहीं है टीम एनएस जो कि सोच रहे हैं इनके ऊपर रश कर ही देते हैं बट जो आगे वाला बंदा है जो टीम एफएफ है उनके पास जो एडवांटेज है वो बहुत खतरनाक टाइप क्योंकि जो एडवांटेज का नाम बता दो तो वो एडवांटेज का नाम ही एचएल के है तो जो शॉटगन के अगेंस्ट बंदा घुसता है तो फिर 1v2 या 1v4 ही होके जाता है भाई बट वो है ही अब अपनी टीम के एक आखिरी लौटे प्लेयर जो कि ये क्या मतलब इतनी नेड ऐसे मार रहे हैं ना भाई जो टीम रैग है बहुत खतरनाक नेड मार रहे हैं टीम क्लेन के लिए बहुत ज़्यादा मतलब इन्होंने मुश्किल बना दी है और सीधा एक स्लैम पड़ता हुआ इनके ऊपर और इनको पता ही नहीं मतलब पीछे बंदा आ गया क्या हेलो वाह भाई कुछ भी मतलब हो रहा है यहाँ पे टीम केएन को पता ही नहीं है कि मतलब उनके पीछे बंदा आ चुका है वो भी इतना पास में आ चुका है भाई और यहाँ पे टीम एफएफ एलिमिनेट होती है हमको देखी जो कि टीम एनएस के द्वारा किया गया
Still a great game in second place. They will continue to stay within top 8. Now, for Nogsham Red Force, one player remains.
और जो टीम R8 है वो फैल्कन का एक और बंदा दबोच चुके हैं बस नॉक ही हुआ फिनिश नहीं कर पा रहे और टीम R8 का इतना बढ़िया बीच से कवर जो कि 2 बंदे कंटिन्यूस नॉक कर चुके हैं और यहाँ पे एक बंदे का किल मिल चुका है उनको उन्होंने जो फ्लैंक किया था टीम R8 मतलब जो टीम फैल्कन ने फ्लैंक किया और एक और बंदा नॉक टीम R8 बहुत ही बढ़िया जा रही है अभी तक यहाँ पे मेरे ख्याल से हाँ यहाँ पे टीम फैल्कन जो कि बहुत ही बढ़िया खेल रही थी अब वो एलिमिनेट हो चुकी है टीम R8 के द्वारा अब यहाँ पे बचते हैं बस 3 टीम एक है टीम R8 और YS और नहीं सॉरी वाई एस नहीं वाई जी एक बची है टीम अरे नहीं यहाँ पे तो 4 टीमें बची हुई है ये तो जोन के H2H घूम रहे हैं की टीम और यहाँ पे जो हमारे एनएस है जो टीम एनएस थी उनका जो लास्ट बंदा बचा हुआ है अगर वो विदाउट फुट बैठा रहता है लास्ट जोन तक तो वो अपनी टीम के लिए चिकन निकाल के दे सकता है यहाँ पे एक स्मोक स्क्रीन बना दी है और सीधा स्लैम दे दिया गया टीम R8 के ऊपर बट ये बहुत बड़ी गलती थी पर इन्होंने ये गलती को शायद पहले से तैयार थे कि ये गलती होने वाली है तो इसी तरह इन्होंने टैकल किया इस गलती को और टीम R8 को एलिमिनेट भी कर दिया ये कब कैसे क्या हो गया कुछ समझ नहीं लगा इन्होंने स्लैम बहुत बढ़िया दिया और स्ट्रेटजी बहुत बढ़िया बनाई अब यहाँ पे बची है बस 3 टीम्स, एक है टीम NS, एक YG और टीम REC।
he possibly can, looking to play spoiler to the chances of Regnum Karya potentially
टीम NS का ये बंदा ऐसा ही बैठे रहे और ये अपनी टीम को एक चिकन दिला सकता है बहुत इजीली, क्योंकि किसी को नहीं पता कि ये अभी यहाँ पे बैठे हुए हैं। Without food बस बैठे रहना है थोड़ी देर तक।
Thinking about Regnum Karya and their position and
और
thinking
ये
perhaps they
मैच
want
शायद
to try
जिनका
and take
विनर
the
विनर
wall
चिकन
side
डिनर हो
of
जाए।
this compound. You could potentially be there. It's fairly nadeable, which makes it a little bit dangerous depending on what sort of utility Yangon Galacticos are going to be working with. But having that angle that controls the open courtyard to the north side of this Yangon Galacticos building would be absolutely huge. But for now, Regnum Karya going to allow themselves a little bit of time, a little bit of breathing room, get those healing ticks back up from those stims. They also don't know where this last solo player is, which means that they're probably wary as to where that off angle could be.
I like where Wild is currently at. He's going to be protecting the backside, allowing his teammates to just focus on what's in front of them. You do not want to get flanked, and there is a potential, right? Yangon Galacticos can send a player down to where Wild is currently at. That would
और ये जिस साइड से फ्लैंक हो रहा है वो टीम NS के लिए बहुत ही खतरनाक होने वाला है। अगर उन्होंने थोड़े से भी फुट दिए तो टीम NS का जो लास्ट बंदा है वो खत्म हो सकता है।
Silas is starting to make a move, and he is taking that advanced position, which is great, but Doc knows this, and Doc is going to be opposite of him. Yangon Galacticos moving in. SayCloud and Doc potentially about to square off.
Silas opening the building. I don't think you want to step in there just yet. Doc now getting pressure put on him. Yangon Galacticos know he's there. Know that this fight happened earlier.
मेरे को जहाँ तक लगा था जो ये फ्लैंग हुआ, पर उन्होंने जो फ्लैंग रोक दिया वहीं पे, और यहाँ पे टीम YG सोच रही थी कि मतलब जो टीम REC है वहाँ पे पहुँच चुकी है, बट टीम REC वहाँ पे नहीं, टीम RG वहाँ पे बैठे थे।
Doesn't quite connect, and another one sent over towards Silas. Sees the numbers even. 3 versus 3, and Wild falls next.
All right, Regnum Karya now with the 3 versus 3, as you said. SayCloud smile, nades are cooking, they're throwing, but are they connecting? Well,
यहाँ पे पूरा रेड जोन बना दिया गया, एक मैन मेड रेड जोन जो कि टीम REC के ऊपर बना, और यहाँ पे टीम YG जो कि एक रेड जोन बना के टीम REC को एलिमिनेट कर दिया और अपने नाम एक विनर चिकन डिनर दे दिया।
Yangon Galacticos the champions with 9 elims, huge.
A brilliant result.
टीम YG बहुत बढ़िया खेल गई इस राउंड।
In the end. And Yangon Galacticos, yeah, the TP to see that one close it down. That position that Doc held in the end. Okay, a little bit more farming coming through for Yangon Galacticos.
मतलब क्या फार्मिंग हो रहा?
You know what? In the end, it felt like Regnum Karya maybe gave a little bit too much leeway to Yangon Galacticos.
जो विनर चिकन डिनर की खुशी है हमको टीम YG के मुंह पे पूरी अच्छे से दिख रही है।
A little bit further south than I thought it would, so it could have been a little bit more of a decision maker there, but I think getting rid of Doc was brilliant from Yangon Galacticos. Regnum Karya allowed them to transverse though across that compound. They could have done more. 12 elims in a second place, however, that's going to put you up on 18 points on the match, and that's a great result.
Yeah, without a doubt, especially since we talked about their struggles.
यहाँ किसी बात पे आर्गुमेंट चल रही है,
puts them closer to that potential
पर आर्गुमेंट करने से कोई फायदा नहीं, क्योंकि आर्गुमेंट करने से ही गेम सुधर नहीं जाता, गलतियाँ सुधर नहीं जाती, उसको सुधारना पड़ता है। और यहाँ पे जो टीम RG के साथ हुआ भाई, सॉरी NS के साथ गलती, यहाँ पे जो टीम NS के साथ हुआ, जो एक नेट और उनकी वक्त जज्बात ज़िंदगी सब कुछ बदल गए वहीं पे, तब भी वो टॉप 3 में अपनी टीम को लाने में सफल रहे। अब यहाँ पे लगने वाला है एक छोटा सा ब्रेक, तो हम आपको मिलते हैं ये छोटे से ब्रेक के बाद।
Reach your impossible, Lenovo Legion.
highly anticipated addition to the Mummy series outfits is here. Paired with the new Ice Tomb Glider, the Polar Spectrophage set is just what you need to freeze your enemies. Or send them ablaze with the Inferno Fiend set's new upgradable Chain Inferno Uzi. All the Mummy outfits are back. Get them all. Join now and collect the whole series to turn all eyes on the battleground. Event period, July 10th, 2025 through September 2nd, 2025.
Hadi oğlum. Beraber. Bir canı bunda. Tamam. Bekle oğlum, beni bekle, beni bekle. Bekliyorum. Basıyor, can basıyor mu? Yok, basmıyor. Nice! Nice oğlum lan!
بس بنيت
ورا المكان ابو علي يمين يمين
يجب اقرب
من تحت
انا صيد نيت
وش في ذا نايس نايس وان ها بالعب راح يتنوك يزعلوا يجيب الزون
يجيب الزون ابو حفيظ ها
يجيب الزون ها
انا بهدي ما بيك
عراقي خلي موت جون
انا ما بيك انا
ايوه خلي موت جون ولا ورا تنوك نايس
نايس يا نايس يلا
اشرنا حجي كلنا هناك
Yangon goes absolutely celestial here from Galacticos as they have brought the big bang at the very end and getting themselves the win here at the PMWC, at the EWC. Of course, brilliant win from them coming in for the last Erangel of the day. I've got 7 as well as Nepture to talk about this one. It's absolutely intergalactic coming in from Yangon. Just space puns.
Yeah, space puns. We gotta hold space for that one for a second. Yeah, very nicely done. No, but I think they're very good. I know, that's lame. Stop it. Don't laugh at me. What I'm trying to say is...
teams are very good,
no, they're all very good.
10 out of 10
but
analysis.
Are they all very good with those nades? Because Regnum were looking very good to actually just overtake and just storm through that compound. And Yangon went, I don't think so. We have nades. We have nades and we have a lot of them. We don't even need our weapons.
It sounds like you right British accent. What's going on? Actually, the more I've talked to Nepture over this few days, she's starts talking about, I don't know about that, James. I'm like, stop it. Stop making fun of me. What's going on?
Really not.
It sounds just like you. But Yangon, I was actually really impressed with not only just the nades, the proactiveness that they showed throughout that match. I mean, even if you rewind it earlier on, the push that they did on non-ship Red Force, that was the impressive part. Them being able to now control that, making sure that the last player for non-ship Red Force backed up. I mean, Yangon Galacticos, 19 points for that team. And Regnum Karya, the way this team was playing Neptura, just towards the north, sweeping everything, getting all those eliminations too.
I really loved how they played this. A 1-3 split through the field, just trying to hedge all their bets against the other teams in the field. And then we were talking about the smoke road that they were doing, that blockade of smokes, not telling any team where they're going at any one time. They were like, we're not going to hint at anything. You have no idea where we're going next. And it worked very well for them.
Definitely, as all these teams are getting ready to get into Miramar now as well, but we've got more to talk about, of course. That compound, that farm compound, non-ship Red Force, of course, technically early on has the lockdown on this compound, but it's a case of, do you have it too early? Because for me, Seven, it felt like the rest of the lobby knew exactly how to dismantle them.
Let's break it down. Let's break it down a little bit. No, the thing is, I agree with you, but I feel like that team just fell asleep in a way because they got an R8 being able to be the first team that pushed them, right? And then they kind of gave away that warehouse. After that, the team was just super passive. They created pretty much a nice little 2-2 between those teams. Yeah. Okay, you stay over there, we stay over here, and they just weren't ready for any type of push. And that's when Young Gun Galacticos just took full care of it. Like, you need to see that proactiveness. And I was actually hoping that Regnum Karya was going to end up winning this match because they were being so proactive. Not only just with the sweeping, as you mentioned, the smokes that they put out as well, but the reaction of Young Gun Galacticos there towards the end, making sure they swept around as well, got all the nades ready, got all the knocks, is what got them the win.
Yeah, and I want to go back just a little bit further back into the mid game, right? Yangon making that initial push. I have so much to say about that because Nongshim really fumbled there, right? You had R8 with that one solo, Damar coming into the compound. Nobody was touching that compound. Everybody was too scared of it, right? Damar comes in and goes, actually, I'm going to test the waters a little bit. And Biddy's like, oh, my bad. Sorry. Didn't know you were there. It's cool. And he immediately backs off. So R8 see that, go, oh, well, they're not really all that scary. They push in, Yangon go, oh, they've given them all that space. Well, we might as well sandwich them while we're at it. And Nongshim actually told the entire lobby, all the teams around them, that actually we're in a weak position, we're a weak team, we're not going to defend this, so you can come and walk all over us. And it's just in that tiny little thing of Binny just moving back slightly. There wasn't this strong push over towards Damar and shut that down immediately. If they had done that, they would have won the game, I think, because it's just nobody would have touched them after that.
Let's take a look at head-to-head here then, brought to you by the Saudi National Bank as Team Falcons in #1 and Yangon Galacticos. A very important win for them, will move them up into 8th place here. 7, as Yangon was able to wrestle away the compound from everybody else and go brr, brr.
Oh, what, how did they go?
Yeah.
But it's an impressive play. I want to see Falcons continue doing what they've been doing. Because in that last game, it felt like they were maybe going to go for the winning play. It felt like they were maybe going to be the team that was actually going to end up doing what Regnum Karya ended up doing. That wasn't the case. And you know what? Let's talk about this overall before I continue on. Because Team Falcons with those 42 points and somewhat of a healthy gap there to 8th place.
Somewhat of a healthy gap, yes. A very important start to the day for Team Falcons. Fireflux obviously really yielding great results. There is one name here slightly omitted from our top 8 that really springs to mind that really isn't that really should be in our top 8. Alpha 7 Neptura still not here. I will say, from my perspective, correct me if I'm wrong, I want to know your expert opinion on this, they still look like they're not very decisive about their choices, still finding themselves on edge players and not really being able to work it out there. What do you think?
It's wild to me because it's almost like they don't know the lobby. I mean, these are teams and players that they have played against for years. And yet they're here like they're the new kid on the block going, oh, I don't know. Oh, I don't want to tread on any toes. Sorry, you're over there. My bad. It's like, you're Alpha 7. You won last year. What are you doing?
It's the decision making. The decision making is not there. We saw it earlier in Sandhog. We've been seeing it throughout. I mean, even in group stages too. Yeah. It's just not there.
It's tough. It is tough. Before we actually get into the next game, of course, we have the PUBG Mobile Airdrop Carnival, and it's now live, of course, this weekend from August 1st to the 3rd. Log in, summon surprise airdrops, and collect 2025 airdrop vouchers to enter prize draws for official merchandise, smartphones, BD partner rewards, permanent in-game items, and more. There's more to go. Every participant is guaranteed to win. Additionally, jump into the game now for your vote on your favorite airdrop partner as well. You might even score yourself some awesome surprises and gifts from them else. We also have plenty of unboxing going on here. I know Maxman's deep in the unboxing right now between games because he's not done it before. We need to get him on it.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he's going for it. Anyway, of course, it's now time to head over to the commentator team for all the action. It's Miramar, the Dusty Dunes. Let's go.
So there you go, beautiful unboxings leading into the final 2 maps of the day, where we will reach our halfway mark through the survival stages and our teams will be hoping against hope and hopefully doing a little bit more than that as well to take themselves into the finals. 8 slots are there at the moment, as the desk highlighted towards the end. The indecisive, timid timorous Alpha 7. It's uncharacteristic of them, but they are in 9th place right now. They want to end strong, and Miramar kind of is their map to do it.
That's right. Miramar is a phenomenal map when it comes to the Alpha 7 roster. They have performed well on Miramar throughout all of Americas, and well, I expect them to do it just here. And I've seen them pull off literally 21 elimination games on this very map. And well, this would be the time that they need it. If they get a 21 elimination game plus the win, that could very well put them well up into first place and very near to qualifying. Speaking of which, Fireflux, Team Falcons, Noxium Red Force, Power Esports, all knocking on the door of that 70-point threshold as it currently stands. Let's even throw in Regnum Karya and E Arena too. Yangon Galacticos, by the way, struggling early on, but that last win them up in top 8, knocking Alpha 7 down, which is huge. Let's see if they can carry that momentum on the Miramar.
I mean, when you're looking at getting 70 points over the 12 matches, you're looking at maybe having 4 big games under your belt where you're starting to stretch into the teens and then keeping your lower games consistent, and that can be sort of healthy to sit, right? You're getting up above 50 points on your good games, on your 4 big games, and then in your 8 small games, you're looking to put the rest, so about 20 points up on those games. Which in general is going to be very doable for those teams towards the top, right? They've already posted those numbers. They've already played 4 big games. The question is consistency, keeping those lower scoring matches under the belt nice and consistent. That is what I'm looking for. You could, of course, just, if you're Falcons, just put up a big 30-point game, 28-point game and get there already, it's just that easy. So I think they should do that.
Well, talking about Falcons, that's a great narrative because look at where they land. Right next to Alpha 7, 2 giants. Of course, for the home crowd, man, that's going to be a spicy one to say the least. And well, for Falcons, they're very comfortable and happy where they currently are. For Alpha 7, they are not. This might be the opening fight Alpha 7 needs to gain some confidence.
It's all on Koa as well. I think it was Narvalo, if I'm not mistaken, who didn't have a weapon in this scenario. Okay, he's managed to find himself something. Revo with the pump action around the corner. A Death Dealer without the armor to assuage any of the damage. Kloa gets caught and immediately flushed as well.
मैंने जैसे मतलब आके देखा यहाँ पे एक फाइट चल रही है फैल्कन और A7 के बीच में। A7 का एक बंदा नॉक कर दिया गया है और फैल्कन भाई फैल्कन क्या खेल रहा है? फैल्कन ने A7 के 2 बंदे नॉक कर दिए, तीसरी की फिराक में जो कि नेट कुक कर रहा है बहुत बढ़िया तरीके से। और यहाँ पे लगता है फैल्कन A7 को घेर के मारेंगे, बट S12 का जादू चलना नहीं और यहाँ पे टीम फैल्कन बच गई और टीम A7 जिनको एलिमिनेट कर दिया गया फैल्कन के द्वारा।
To keep the Falcons in as 3, keep them towards the top spot, and that's how you kick things off here. And
Falcon के पास जैसे कोई अलग ही स्पार्क सा आ गया हो, वो बस घुसे जा रहे हैं, बंदों में घुसे जा रहे हैं। यहाँ पे आते ही मतलब पावर ने भी 3 किल कर दिए हैं जो कि रैक के 3 बंदे थे और लास्ट बंदा जो कि रैक का भाग रहा है। उसके पास कुछ नहीं भाई, रैक के पास।
Falcons should have been dead at that moment. Alpha 7 should have been leading with the squad wipe, but instead, Narvalo flips the script with the 3-piece and
रैक भाग चुका है वहाँ से, पर नहीं ये नहीं भागने देंगे शायद उसको। कोई ना कोई यहाँ पे इनके पास व्हीकल है ही नहीं तो अब वो निकल गए, टीम रैक के बंदे निकल गए भाई, वो नहीं बचेंगे, भाग गए।
You can't take it away from the guy. We do criticize him sometimes. He is French, and that speaks for itself.
Your words, not mine.
But he's absolutely nailed that. To be fair, I could not imagine a better result.
टीम रैक का भी जो बंदा है उसको भी बहुत ज़्यादा लो कर दिया गया था इनकी तरफ से, बट ये उनको मारने में सफल नहीं हो पाए। और यहाँ पे टीम INF जो कि अलग-अलग व्हीकल से कहीं शायद स्लैम देने जा रहे हैं।
It's ironic, isn't it? Really, the caster curse
इनके
comes
पास
full
गोल्डन
fledged,
मिराडो
full
भाई
six, but
ये गोल्डन मिराडो का
getting out of
एरा
that hole
बहुत
was
चला था
essential. He
पहले
doesn't do that. I firmly believe Alpha 7 wins that fight. Nirvana
कभी कभी
doesn't
तो
pick up
हम
that many
भी
elims,
मतलब
but yeah, getting out,
तिरंगल खेलना
disengaging,
छोड़
and
देते थे
really
और
spinning
बस
the heads of
मीरा
Alpha
मार
7
खेलते
was
थे क्यों
just
क्योंकि
tremendous.
हमको
We
गोल्डन मिराडो
obviously
चलानी
look at
होती
power in
थी
this moment, a replay,
और यहाँ
seeing
पे
what
हमको एक
happened
रिप्ले
to
दिखाया जा रहा
Karia
है
at the very
टीम पावर
beginning.
और टीम
Haji
रैक की फाइट का
getting active, taking one down in conjunction with his teammates, of course, and Regnum Karia being put
भाई यहाँ
into the
चाकू
blender.
मारा
Some
गया है
extra shots,
टीम
power
रैक के
filling
बंदे
themselves
को
today, and rightly so. You look at their group play to their survival stage play, night and day difference.
Absolutely. I mean, that for Regnum Karia, that felt like what should have happened to the Falcons, right? In that scenario,
yeah. Good, yeah.
it is the exact scenario that you imagine. Regnum Karia, they lose a player and they all go, "Oh, I'm hiding. Maybe I get a trade."
वेट आ
Not
जा
that
तुम्हारे
one.
पास
They would pull that one back. And we've banged on enough about him, but it was pretty poggers, as they used to say.
All right,
that's a historic.
Now you get wild.
That's an old reference. That's an old reference. That one now.
That is an old reference, indeed. That is a fossil. But I mean, honestly, I mean, we talked about it. Last thing I'll